Hello then, and welcome back to the CoR European Showdown. We're going to go straight into game one here because, you know, a couple of technical issues going into the first game, so we're not going to be able to have a little chat, but I'm sure there's plenty of time for us to be able to do so. And, of course, joining with me today is going to be the one and only CCExclusives. How you doing, man?
Doing fantastic, mate. Happy to be back here again, hosting the EU. It's where I've started. It's where I'm happy to be back coming into, man. And I see some new faces, some new talent out here. I see some familiar faces and, you know, a lot of names I'm looking forward to seeing. So, you know, this is going to be a really interesting day, to say the least, here starting off. You know, the showdowns, in order for these teams to qualify, I know all these teams have been looking forward to these events, man. So, honestly, it's going to be a good day.
It certainly is, and obviously we had the Open Qualifiers last week. 8 teams that went through the Open Qualifiers are going to be here, as well as the 8 invited teams as well. So it's going to be, you know, this is going to be some really intense action. So the 8 best teams for the Open Qualifiers are competing against arguably the best 8 teams already in EU, getting a straight pass, but I have a feeling not all 8 of the invited teams are going to be going through, because there have been some very, very strong teams leading up to this in the Open Qualifiers.
You're absolutely right. I mean, and there's going to be so much change, I think, throughout the leaderboard. I mean, and that's, I think, what I'm the most excited to see is hopefully it's not just a run for the money where you have one team just blowing everybody out of the water with, again, the kind of mixed talent upon these rosters. It's going to really open the door for some of these teams to make this a foot race and really, really keep us entertained here as far as the viewers, and really, really get these players hyped up to really win their ones and start to be, I think, a difference of kill leaders here. I'm looking at BHE having a more put together team here. They're a team that I've kind of noticed has really been putting themselves in more competitions a lot more consistently. Nada and Larry, you know, who you kind of just, we're in the kind of the backfield, I believe, of more like the comp scene, have now started to face themselves amongst some of the best teams, and they've really grown a lot over the last few months there. So shout out to BHE and seeing how they can participate in this competition, just as one of the teams under my radar right here.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they absolutely dominated in both rounds of Open Qualifying. You know, I think they came in second in round number 1 of 64, and then coming in, I think it was 4th after the final game. You know, coming away with a win in that final game really did put them up there, and they were able to come through and get into the upper bracket, which is, you know, I think for that team that's relatively newly formed, it's big, you know, sort of, you know, result for them. That's not kind of probably where they were expecting to be. I think they were just quite happy to try and get as far as they can, and I think they've got a really good chance of getting to the finals and potentially picking up some of the money in the finals as well.
Continuing to play, man. Consistency is everything, you know, and you have teams who come and they do well, you know, in certain qualifiers, and then they get to the main event and they fall off. We'll have to see how the day pans out. But there is a few other competitors out there. We've got DubHub as well, who's finally transitioned over from the NA side. I'm happy to see these boys with a EU team here, starting to excite everybody, hopefully get some things in the mix here. Mustang, Dill, and Skosik, and you've got Dill coming from, you know, a older roster of Envy, and Envy is complete classics. And, you know, that's something that I always like to reference, because Envy is just one of the starters, I believe, of these competitions, you know, these tournaments amongst these EU individuals. So it's just great to see Dill still out there doing his thing, now representing a great league and a great individual, I'm losing the word right here, organization. And you know, honestly, it's just fantastic to see this team here on the EU side now.
Yeah, 100%. You know, DubHub being, you know, a staple in the NA region. Obviously, it's great to see them coming over here towards the EU. And yeah, the team, they've got very seasoned individuals. I mean, Skokik originally on Cranks, so that was an old German team back in the day. You know, they played very well, and I think in one of the PCL event as well, like coming away, I think it was second in the end, but there was a time when they were absolutely dominating, like toe-to-toe with Avita during that event. And then you've got the likes of, as you said, Dill, who's been on many rosters over the time, sort of Envy being probably the one he stayed on for the most amount of time and remembered for the most. And then, of course, Mustang as well, who, you know, he's been around the scene quite a bit as well. I don't know if I can't remember which name he went under before, but yeah, he's been around for a while. And then Entels, who originally Jetsy Bruv, who was on some big rosters as well, P7, you know, as one of those. So yeah, definitely a team that's kind of on the radar, I think, and since sort of coming out as VX, which is the team they were before getting picked up with DubHub, doing very well, having some great performances, and clearly that's why DubHub thought, you know what, we're going to take a chance with these guys and yes, hopefully see what they can do under our name.
Respectfully so, man. Teams now starting to rotate their way in as it looks like CoR, the first one to kind of do a bridge choke here. They're going to set themselves up potentially right outside Yasnaya, maybe get some rotation kills here. Circles like this can be tricky. You know, it's high-low. You have that middle Yasnaya Lake. And really, you just have to kind of question whether or not you play high or low on this. And the first shift is definitely going to be determination, aside from if we get the donut effect. But we have teams starting to rotate their way in. A lot of teams comfortable off the rip. But you have teams like Dig and TSS coming down from the south, passing DubHub, passing a few other teams here if they're looking for some retail. They're definitely going to have to hope for the best here. RMB caught in the mix as well, one of the further teams inside the rotation, and they may just lose a player here upon that rotation. Opting to stop here at the 2-stack, they will get actually a decent position.
Yeah, that was a little bit hairy for a moment, wasn't it? You had Shane raining some shots out, Skylynx and Hacker as well having a go too. Nothing coming through yet, and it looks like NE actually about to go past CoR's bridge block, as you were kind of commenting on earlier. It looks like they're pulled up to Alamo, very close to Gav here. So it does need to be a little bit careful not to get caught out, but he's going to start with the SLR shots. Nice couple of tags on Bolby. Doesn't really do anything to be able to get any knocks. And Ollie's coming over here to try and support. Sutty's in the vehicle as well to try and see what he can do. And actually it looks like Ollie's fully crashed, but he's been taken down straight away. And Jay's going to confirm him. The rest of CoR not in a position to be able to back him up here. And Gav just going to have to get out of there and hopefully regroup with the rest of his team. But unfortunately, Ollie going to be the first to go down in this lobby.
Down and out, CoR loses one off of a great position to start off where Dig in the return. There goes Wash to fall again on rotation. Kazoo looks like the last alive here, trying to hold his way out. He's got 4 members of DubHub who just surrounded him, and there's absolutely nothing he can do at that point. All 4 great positioning here by DubHub to find both these players. Coming up, looks like off the side of the hill here to make these plays. And they're now going to gain control here of not the best compound, but again, if the circle does decide to pull south, we'll be in a very comfortable position here moving into phase 2 as we got another 3 minutes on the clock. I opted they'll probably just play it out here. A couple other teams have now rotated in and are sitting pretty centralized inside this zone here. So a hard north shift is definitely going to pull a lot of these teams here out of a comfortable position here. So circle, circle, circle is really going to determine how the end of this game plays out.
Yeah, exactly the case. You know, everyone kind of already in there. And as you said, you know, it's a long time left on the clock. So not too many teams left to rotate. You've got K7 down in the south and you've got BHE coming in from the west. But everyone else already finding a home in this one. Torch and EXH probably going to try and get a little bit more central. They are very far on the edge. But of course, with that water in the middle, teams are kind of not wanting to bank on one side or the other. You've got NE who are going to go for the north alongside MF4 and BHE at the moment. But of course, it does look like it's likely to go south, and potentially that water could come into play with a hard shift sort of towards the end of phase 3. So it's something in the back of these players' minds, something they've got to be very wary of. But of course, for now, everyone's kind of just settling in. Everyone's finding a bit of area, and yeah, losing 3 members, not the best of starts. But actually, everyone, you know, being able to keep a bit of distance between each other, and it's still holding out with the numbers. As you know, generally what happens on console, you do lose quite a few in the first zone compared to what you're used to seeing on PC.
And that is the shift, right? I mean, you get a lot more aggression. You know, they talk about it a whole lot, you know, the aggression that used to be there. And now the teams would rather just rotate as a full 4 and take the fights later on in the zone. And, you know, you do occasionally get that rotation. You know, you're going to lose 1 or 2 players here, but more and more you have that full 4 towards the end of these games, and you end up, you know, it's either like a full ride or die type moment, or if you guys did see in that PC, we had the back rider, and I think one of the most absolute clutch moments in PUBG history, rides in the back of that truck in order to follow and get the triple kill on. It was insane. If you guys haven't seen it, check out the PCS 7. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it is an amazing clip.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it was honestly so good to see. It was I think it was Chris from Ace being able to take up Howl, and it was yeah, it was such a smart play coming out from him. You know, it's not always every day you get to see something new when it comes to PUBG, but yeah, I mean, that's a play that we haven't really seen too much before, and it was just so smart. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it being used a lot more. However, you know, players probably going to be starting to check the back of those trucks before getting into them now, going forwards.
Check your back seat. It's Halloween time, okay? Don't get scared.
100%. Right, zone not far away from being stopped here. It looks like CoR going to just be doing some love taps a little bit with RMV in the central compound. Torch did manage to catch one of EXH there as well, so they are going to be down to a 3, unfortunately, for EXH. You know, one of the invited teams that have been doing very well of late, you know, been pretty consistent, been playing playing good PUBG as a team. Yeah, not the start they would want. They're one of these teams that are very aggressive, so they either get really big high kill games, or there's obviously the chance that they could lag and get sort of 0-point games. So it's all or nothing really with the XH. That's definitely the team they are. So losing one early, not the best of starts, and it will obviously hinder them slightly when they're trying to get some, you know, some big high kill games, being one number less. But it's definitely possible still for them.
100%. I mean, the chances are there. 60 players still up in this lobby. The phase 2 circle just showing its face here. And with that donut appearing, again, that middle lake Yasnaya is still in play here. And you're really just going to have to wonder, you know, north or south still, unfortunately, for these teams here. As Dig wasting no time as a two-man, trying to full send along with Torch aside. Both players just kind of crashing Yasnaya, hoping for somewhere to go. But shots being sent out from a few Torch players to deter a Dig. And let's hope that they have somewhere to stop as they now are crashing the TSS. 2 players on the warehouse. QRXZ, Linkadox with the vehicle there. Shots coming out from Link in return, but Link is going to hold it down as Jimbo from the side going to find another member from RMV. Completely different fight. And there it is. Baltic cleaned up as well. TSS will win that fight, taking down Dig into what looked to be a hairy situation for both teams, but TSS able to recover and now just needs to regroup as a full 4.
Yeah, certainly do. And we've already got K7 heading this way as well. So that's going to be the next fight, potentially, that TSS are going to have to deal with. Although Kiz are maybe just realizing that there are sort of vehicles and bodies lurking around there. I think he's going to carry on trying to rotate. And yeah, the rest of K7 going to be rotating as well, following behind. So yeah, really good read there from Kizza, realizing that's maybe not the best position. We have seen them play out of there before, but now they're actually going to be crashing straight onto Gav's position. He's going to have to try and get out of here, and he is. He's trying to just hot foot out of that position, get across the field, but the fact that K7 have pulled up right behind him is not going to be the best. Anto knocking Tyro, though, in the vehicle is potentially going to slow him down, and they're going to have to worry about getting the res, and that might just be the saving grace there of Gav.
Is it really a professional esports lobby if there's not a team knock from a vehicle?
Yeah, I don't think there is. And actually, did he get... Tyro got confirmed as well. He got finished off. I think someone having sightlines onto that one. I'm assuming it was going to be a Skyline EU, is it? No, they've got no kills. I don't know who managed to steal that one away, but whoever it was.
I think it's CE. It might be Scrub. I think Scrub was looking. Yeah, Scrub's looking on the position over here. I believe he's the one that's got the kill there from the side. CE does pick up one here. Great shots coming out there. Just great information. That right there is IQ that is, you know, important for the late game. You know, 1-2 points could definitely be the difference of getting in or out.
Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah, great little steal there, and that's massive misplay there from K7. But as you said, you know, there's got to be one every single event, right? You can't get away with an event without having a single vehicle knock. So, you know, that has obviously come through. But yeah, K7, you know, still a very strong team and in a really strong location as well. Obviously, we're waiting for the hard shift to come through. We've got one more phase shift before that hard shift does come through. So there's obviously a chance that it could sort of center up a little bit anyway towards K7. But yeah, that water shift going to have to be something they consider, and yeah, there's a good chance that they will find themselves out of the zone because of that, and they will have to fight their way in as just 3 strong.
I don't know if you want to take a peek. You got Skosik maybe being hunted out by Nebo here. I think he's trying to escape his way. Nebo's making some Assassin's Creed moves here as I make another reference here to our PUBG skins. Nebo is going to find Skosik. Skosik able to get a turnaround and sit Nebo back in his place here as Jen is going to have to pull, now regroup, go for the res. The Molotov, the nade is there to try to confirm that kill, but unfortunately just not going to come through. And it looks like Skosik might not be able to get his way out of this. The rest of Dubhub, though, full sending it. They're right behind. In comes Dill. Nebo's on the shoulders, being carried back, and now all 4 players of Dubhub, all 4 players of Genesis involved in this fight. Game Boy with a perfect grenade to start off the push here, buying the time for Nebo in order to get that res from Bliv.
Yeah, really good start there for Gen to be able to return onto this one. Just going to slow Dubhub down a little bit. Game Boy a little bit disconnected now as he gets taken down low there by Skokick. Skokick trying to push round, try and see if he can finish, but I think the first day is going to be able to come on before Skokick's able to get a peek. Game Boy trying to retreat back, and Bliv is actually going to find Skokick, so that's going to be a nice knock being returned and confirmed as well, as Dubhub now on the back foot here after they're getting that initial knock. Dill now having to try and go for an angle on towards the 2 Gen members. He's going to open the shots down towards Game Boy. Gets a couple of tags, but not enough to be able to get the knock here. Game Boy pushes around. Nest going to get found as well. That's 2 members getting found there by Intel. Still going to be able to confirm both of them. And now it's a 2v3 situation. It is. And now Bliv and Nebo having tried to hold this off.
good to see Entel's, getting his rhythm, getting his momentum back in play there. It looked a little grim there for DubHub on the pool. It looked great at first, got grim. The Clouds are now opening themselves back up here as, again, they do have the power in numbers, as Bouncer was just talking about, but they ultimately, Genesis has this 2-stack, so they have a little bit better of a position to kind of hold from. So if DubHub does decide to get aggressive, it's going to have to be smart, and it's going to have to be very, very careful here. How much more time you spend on this fight, I don't know, but DubHub needs to close it up soon as Entels is on the push, Mustang's on the grab. Looks like they've got just that in play here. Nebo takes a few shots from Entels as Mustang opens the door. Nobody there to answer. Still, all three players. Ooh, Mustang with a great read from the side of the bathroom finds the first knock, and now it's Bliv with a grenade in hand, hoping for the best.
Yeah, it certainly is. Bliv now as a solo member trying to hold off here as well. Nebo going to be confirmed out. Really smart play there from Mustang trying to confirm that one, but Bliv, he's got a lot to do now. He does manage to land a nice big tag with that nade. He's going to follow it straight up. Here's the med coming through. Really, really smart push. He's going to try and get Entels down as well. 8 bullets left in the chamber. Does manage to find him, but now it's just going to be one member left up for DubHub. Entel's almost getting confirmed, but doesn't quite manage to get confirmed, and Dill managed to hunt him down. And that is going to be Gen out, and I think both reses available for DubHub here, as they will stay 3 strong, but right on the very edge of zone, and Skyline EU going to be their next target.
Bliv, I thought you were going to give me my highlight of the day there. I was asking who it's going to be. It was just about to be Bliv, and that was going to be absolutely beautiful. Still well played, 2 knocks, an excellent push, but DubHub, with power in numbers there, survives, able to get both reses. Phase 4 coming through in another minute. And yeah, SKEU waiting in wait here for that. Maybe just having, nope, Stick's actually going to put his gun away. Looks like the vehicle deciding to rotate. Nothing really to gain. And if you wait so much long, you're going to gain those 4 kills, right, Silencer? But where are you going to reposition here with the rest of this 50-player lobby?
Yeah, I know. There's really not a lot to play, is there? It's just open field. RMV's position pretty much to Kashi, showing how strong that is by being able to get the opening knock on towards TSS. Jimbo gets found and taken out. And yeah, RMV... yeah, they've got a couple of kills. They're looking pretty good. Nice tags there from JB on towards Macca's. Great play. And that's going to be a nice knock there for RMV. Not going to be able to capitalize on it, but that might actually allow EXH to push up here. And yeah, they're going to be able to find Cocky. Checkbanks leading that one. The res does come through, but taking down very low. There we go, the return fire. And I think positive confirmation. No, Luca does manage to get one, but there we go. Instantly finished off there. And Tweak going to be able to confirm that on towards WC and take them out of the lobby. Huge play there from EXH as they wrap around on towards this one. RMV, yeah, not being able to capitalize on the points, but they did manage to do the damage and actually helped getting WC out there. So really great play. BHE look like they're on the move. They've got to try and find a way in. Same with NE as well, as they have to now rotate across the bridge. So a couple of teams going to be getting caught up in this choke point. I don't know whether either team's going to want to stop to try and take shots, but we might be seeing NE, who've got a lot of people in that vehicle waiting shots down to this B-more. Good tags landing as well. Takes him very, very low. Doesn't quite manage to get the knock though.
I can't believe how many teams are still alive in this zone here. It's not a friendly zone here, but teams playing absolutely smart and just making all the right calls here, rotating, backfilling, waiting for the right timing. And this is just showing, again, the development of PUBG console here that have just really, really grown, I think, over the years of just watching PC and just getting the time. In comes DubHub. Knox traded out. B-more is already found here. Mustang then confirmed there from the side as SKEU comes in to get this. And just what are you going to do, DubHub? DubHub with heart in hand. Full sends on the BHE, but SKEU, you've got EXH over the top and BHE full frontal. DubHub ripped apart, taken out in 13th position there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that was a bit of a full send. Didn't quite work out their way, and I think Skyline probably being the problem for that there. Having sightlines on towards this building there just allowed BHE to just hold on, and any angle they couldn't cover, Skyline had it in hand. So it's a it's a bit of a team effort there going towards DubHub, and unfortunately they were on the back end of that and didn't really work out for them. But yeah, we do carry on the zone, about to pop. Only 7 seconds left on it. And we've seen Torch actually pushing straight in towards CE's position. Merc trying to wrap right the way up here, right next to Wheelix. I'm surprised that neither player did spot them. But there we go. Wheelix going to try and see if he can spot Merc. Doesn't quite manage to do it. Has to try and retreat and get back round here. Going to go right the way through. And almost takes him down. He gets taken down very low as well in return. There we go. Through the window. Does manage to catch Merc. I think the nade came down. I don't know if that's going to be able to confirm the kill or not. Second nade to follow up. He's going to be landing. There we go. Ghost comes straight for the dust man. Down, and he's going to confirm that one away. I think Merc should be able to get rezzed here as CE not in a position to capitalize on this.
Oh, what a Molotov, though. It is going to catch him on fire there. I don't know if it's enough to get the confirmation here. If Ghost gets this res in time, it's looking close. Ghost is playing it out. Merc, he's going to let him bleed.
There was time there. I think Ghost already wrote him off, and I think by the time the communication came through, just a little bit delayed there, unfortunately. Not going to be able to capitalize on it. And yeah, Merc does go down. Potentially, there was a chance of a res there, though. It looks like QP having to try and push across the fields, though, and actually, nice opening knock there on towards TSS. Coming out from Pato, but Pato instantly returned there by Q. They have managed to get Major Girth right up against this building, and Q, yes, he's got the high ground, yeah, he's got the sight lines, but he can't really capitalize on this as they're pushing into the area where there's absolutely no doorway or window for him to be able to work through. He's got no sight lines onto this.
And one of those nades makes it into that window right there. QRXZ is definitely going to be kissing at least this game goodbye, but so far so good. He's able to make his way out the backside of the window here. Major Girth potentially getting the res here from seconds, as Polino is actually going to get the res now in from QRXZ. Both players taking the time to now stick these reses. Pato pretty much left for dead there. 1:20 still for that phase to shift, and that's going to be a very risky res for QP to make. Do they make that? Potentially yes or no. And there it is, another push, another Molotov. Polino, QRXZ both to fall right there. In the meantime, Torch is going to go down there from the backside of CE, and there's just teams left for right that should be falling here as phase 5 continues to close here.
Yeah, a huge play there from QP, being able to get some of TRS out. That Molly just being able to find both of those members. It's just going to be Linkadox that's left up here to try and fend off the advances of QP. I think potentially even Major Girth and Pato could be res, so this could be a full QP team back up on their feet. And there we go, the nade coming through from Carly is going to confirm Linkadox as well, and that's going to be TSS out.
Back-to-back teams here outside of Yasnaya, CE, QP. The next team's pretty much to run head-to-head here in that next field. You have 3 teams also existing here as BHE makes the crash on the RMV. Third party coming out from EXH in order to take that, give a little bit of relief to RMV here. But now RMV definitely should be feeling the pressure remaining of just BHE Clift. If you can at least manage to pull through and find a knock onto RMV, just some points at this point might be the best position for BHE to take. But it looks like Clift kind of just playing defense right now, opting to maybe get in the vehicle and full send out of there. So we'll see how that delays. But no, there it is. SKEU has spotted out Cliff, so it's looking like BHE's days are numbered.
Yeah, it certainly is, but my God, they get the shift there. Skyline EU blessed on that hillside as they don't have to move. They can just keep watching everyone else rotating, but Cliff is going to be able to find one of RMV. Can't quite get the confirmation, though. Pammy going to be able to confirm that one away, but does get caught by Marco. EXH trying to push across towards this compound, and that's a great way of being able to do it. Getting a nice knock, getting the confirmation as well. Going to steal away Kadosh too. So that's 7 kills now on the board for EXH. We said about it earlier. They're a team that either get massive fracking games or they get very little points. And this looks like this is going to be one of their big games here with 7 kills already on the board. However, only 2 players left up. They are going to have to try and move in here. And yeah, that's not the situation I'd want to be in. But I'm pretty sure 7 kills to start things off is definitely going to give them a bit of a momentum going into the final 3 games.
If not momentum, it's a good start and a good head start, you know, over some of the teams who haven't been able to find any kills here who have already went down. But EXH, yeah, you know, it's just great to see. Even as a 2-man, they have not lost that fire. They're still continuing to push, finding those 2 kills onto RMV, still just as a 2-man. Every point at this point here, this early on in the game, is absolutely potential just for your mentality here, just for getting your team in a position where you actually, you know, are confident going into day 2, confident playing into next week. And, you know, this is just one of those times that I think EXH being one of the teams that's generally on the middle side of the leaderboard here at the start of day 1 is definitely going to be looking good starting off here with the first match. So consistency like we're looking for teams like BHE. I'm definitely going to be looking at EXH now, game number 2 here after such a great start here to game number 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great start here. Just having a little look at QP, who I'm trying to move in here. I don't know how they've managed to get all the way across this field without taking too much damage, but all 4 members still up, and Major Girth has managed to make himself all the way up against this ridgeline alongside Kyle as well. So very, very smart move here from QP, as we have got into placement points as well. 7 teams left up with RMV falling down. And yeah, QP got a really nice little ridge here they can work with. They've got a bit of a bowl. They've got 2 players left to try and make their way in. Seconds and Pato still lagging behind. But if they can get over here, they've got a really nice place to work out of. And, you know, CE who have got to also make the move across the field. It doesn't look quite so good for them as they've got NE and K7 both bearing down on towards them. So I feel like they might struggle a little bit more, but they seem to be doing quite well of getting close to the zone, but they've still got a way to go, and Scrub absolutely pinned down there behind that vehicle now.
Not much else he's really going to be able to do from positioning there, as EXH did find the remaining kill on RMV. Takashi will fall. RMV out in 8th. K7 QDEX now opening it up. Scrub taken down, yeah, again. And Jads nowhere to go. CE in the middle of the field there will go down there following in 7th. 6 teams now remain, 18 players left up, as phase 7 about to bear its fangs here. We shall see where the end of this game is going to end, on the left or the right side of the road here. And it looks like we still have a crossroad. It's a middle circle. Both teams and both sides of the zone still comfortable on that side for now. And we just may see another donut to finish off here phase 8. Everybody more or less will just be kind of playing edge, hugging zone, and waiting for their opportunity to third party.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, I haven't gone through this with you, CC, but we have actually got some new features coming into this stream. And so we're going to be able to go and have a little listen into CoR's comms, as we do see them having a fight with NE. So let's have a little listen.
Nice.
Choice.
One's left of the oil tank.
I've just been fucking two-tap, bro. Take my lid if you want it.
Yeah, I can't do nothing. No push. No lid.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate there for CoR, as they were pretty much up against it. They did really well to take out NE there, but yeah, I mean, obviously, excuse the language from the CoR boys, but yeah, unfortunately, we're not able to do too much there. So we're down to our top 4 teams now. We've got QP, Skyline EU, who have managed to push straight into the compound with EXH here, and now all of a sudden, EXH absolutely up against it, and QP look like they might get involved if this fight breaks out as well. So Skyline got to be a little bit careful of the third party here as well.
It's a dangerous situation for all parties involved. And if you're EXH, obviously you're comfortable, you fought, you're ready for this next fight. But are you ready for both teams on both sides of this 2-stack compound? Your EXH, definitely playing it right here, backing one from the front, one to the back, as all 4 players of SKEU continue to line up, ready to push inside. Nades now coming through on both ends, not connecting enough damage on either end. And in a situation like this, it's all about how SKEU plays this out. If the knock does come through, it's a full send type situation inside. If you're EXH, it's all about finding those first 2 knocks here as the team does go through. They're going to buy some time there with that. Molotov gas can looks like potentially in play there as well. As shots come through, there goes the third party. And that's K7 potentially going to get involved in this as well. Shots now coming out there from Marco, potentially just keeping the rest of SKEU down here at the bottom. Marco doing a great job. It looks like holding for now inside the bathroom, and there's not much else EXH can do after all utilities are spent. It's now hold that staircase and wait to flush these kills out.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's happening. And yeah, Shane going to be able to take that molly up the stairs, but not going to be able to get anywhere near any of the players. Unfortunately, those smokes just saving the push, being able to come out for Skyline on towards EXH. Marco has got that Groza though, so that's definitely the sort of weapon you want when you're trying to face against loads of people coming up the stairs. Very quick, close quarter combat that can really do some damage here. So he's just trying to hold on as long as he can for smoke still, but he's going to start smoking out to maybe either bait the fact that he's going to be going down the stairs, or whether he's going to be baiting the fact he's going to jump out the window. But there we go. Here we go. Skyline pushing up here, does manage to get a nice tag there with the shotgun, but the Groza isn't going to get a return. Is going to find 1, finds 2, 3 gone down for Skyline, and I feel like this is a little bit of a misplay here for Skyline here. Yeah, it's looking pretty good now, and yeah, Skylink's just going to have to just try and back off from here. EXH is doing so well to hold off here, and that's a good number of kills they've just been able to pick up as well. Shane there going to be confirmed there. That's the 10th kill coming through for EXH. And I think we might be able to get the other member as well. I think they expect the 4th to still be lurking around here, but no, Skylynx has completely just got himself out there and got himself into zone ahead of EXH. And we'll just be trying to hope that he can survive as long enough to be able to pick up a few more placement points, maybe catch an extra kill as well, if he's lucky.
Oh my word. EXH, 11 kills into this match, and I'm not going to talk anything about it yet, but there is something that I'm thinking about here for EXH. Skyline, yeah, had to just bail out of that one right there. Well played from the bathroom read. EXH taking some IQ plays. They pushed in, looking to get the kill on Benz inside. Marco already there waiting inside with that third-party pressure. It literally just made EXH a force to be reckoned with as a two-man. Brings the 4 down to 2, and now Skylink's actually going to find some revenge. They're able to find Marco, puts him down instantly, as brings down Benz just to the solo now here for EXH. Still, just as a one-man army, we'll see how many more points EXH can pick up. 11 already in play here. He's going to make his way around, but Skylink's still waiting in play with that barrel in hand, trying to find a third-party angle. Gets caught almost by the stun, but it's going to bounce off the table into the base room, or excuse me, into the back room there. And now just kind of delaying the inevitable here. Ben's able to now maybe get I'm going to call it a read and maybe a frontal line, and he does get a line of sight there onto Skylink, able to find some shots. Benz through the window, just needs to find one more. Nade connection from QP does do some damage, but Benz hangs on tight, finds Skylinks, and now it's just a 4-man QP versus Benz and the rest of K7.
Yeah, K7 have just been set up, waiting for this fight to break out. You know, they haven't need to push in too much. Benz is going to be able to find Pato there with the nade, and I think this might be go time for K7, realizing there's a knock already in the ADC. QDex already running across the road here, trying to see what he can possibly do, but Hensley swaps out the weapon as he spots one of the members of QP. Just coming out anyway, raining the shots down if he possibly can. Does spot seconds there, and that nade might be really good. It does just bounce over and does damage to both Major Girth and seconds. Pato going to be bleeding out there, so that's another point that EXH have been able to pick themselves up here. And now QP completely confined to this wall. Not really too much that they can do from this position unless they can get a knock here on towards K7, but no, QDex is going to be up close and personal with that Mark 14. Can find the opening knock here, and the stuns are coming out, trying to see what he can possibly do. CodeRed goes down. 15 seconds left up. Anto does get knocked though in return. Can seconds do this? He's got a long mission ahead of him as he rains out the shots to try and see what he can do, and it's a 1v1. QDex trying to rain down the stuns there, but I don't think he's quite able to do it, and QDex does just manage to find seconds there at the end, and K7 are going to take the win, but great plays there from QP.
What a final ending there from a 4-man full squad to EXH coming in to find at least one member, giving K7 the ultimate victory right there. QP looked great, played patient, but it was K7 to come up from the base side of that hill that really just gave us a great performance there. And that was well played, I think, by all teams here. What a fantastic first game. If you're DubHub, WC, as well as some of our other teams that were kind of towards the bottom, you know, you're looking for a better game coming off here into round 2. But what a great start here to the first match, Silencer.
Yeah, incredible start. Really good play from some of these teams. So we're going to get ready for game number 2. We're not going to hang around too long, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes with that game. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a bit. Hello and welcome back then to the CoR European Showdown. We can see the lovely CCExclusives here with me. Obviously a great first game, my man. It was a lot of fun to see. And yeah, I mean, yes, well played to K7 for picking up the win, but my God, EXH, they came out to prove a point, didn't they?
They really did. But like I said, a fantastic roundabout from all of our teams here in this first game. You know, I'm really excited to see the roadmap for the remainder of this CoR series. So, you know, K7, you know, QP, EXH, you know, a lot of big moves, you know, going into to get themselves to that end game. Not only the kills, silencer, but also the rotations, the information, and honestly, just the teamwork that I've seen from these teams. I mean, the comms. I'm excited to see, like you're saying, we have this new setup. So hopefully you guys are just as excited to get some of these team comms to hear in the tight situations what some of these teams and how they're going to react.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, speaking of how they're going to react, we are in the plane ready for game number 2. So we're going to head on over there back towards Erangel for the second time of the day. We'll see you over there. So here we go then. Plane is looking pretty good. Straight down towards the middle. I think most places should be pretty accessible. Maybe Yaz, you know, obviously Severny going to be a bit difficult to get to. But yeah, most teams are going to be pretty happy with this plane, I should imagine. Does veer a little bit close to Millie Base. So could we potentially be seeing a Millie Base zone here?
I would love a Millie Base zone. K7, I'm sure, would love a Millie Base zone too, as well as they had a pretty tough rotation. So again, to see them come from Military Island to win that game, I'm sure they would really, really appreciate no rotation needed this time around. So we'll see what we do get in store. This is one of those plane pass silencers that you kind of toss up. You sometimes get that north side George pull, you know, with a little bit of Mount Everest in there. You also, you know, tend to get, you know, that farm shift right outside of Milta as well. So this is one of those, hey, it's up for grabs.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just looking at the end of the plane path, it looks like TSSQ has maybe lagged out a little bit, which is unfortunate. And even if he gets in, going to be surrounded by either Torch if he goes north or CoR if he goes south. So, yeah, hopefully he does manage to get in. He can go for a little swim and does survive, but it's just not looking good for him. But, my God, the center of this zone is absolutely stacked with teams. And it looks like Bliv might have got himself a bit of a problem here straight away. Kadosh going to be able to find the knock there with the vehicle.
SKEU sticks. Two teams are going to find one individual player per each drive-by, run over, whatever you want to call it here, hit and run. I mean, Evo unfortunately gets the punch out here from Sticks, but that's not, you know, the most common thing. You know, again, like, so we had mentioned again that PC console difference, and that's one of the things there too. Sometimes you get that respect, you know, where it's like, all right, I'm going to drop, I won't hit you, go regroup with your team. But here it is full bloodshed. Get in my way, I will mow you down. That is a free point there for those teams to start off this game.
Yeah, exactly. You know, great start if you're on the receiving end of, you know, if you're the lucky one that managed to get that kill. It's a nice, easy start, isn't it? But if you're not, yeah, it's the horrible way to go, and you've got to sit there for another half an hour just waiting for your team to, you know, do something without you and then come back in the next game. So, yeah, unfortunate for those teams and players that did go out early. Already 4 players gone, and we're only 2 minutes in. That's a big change compared to last game. But, you know, still plenty left in this one. Still 16 teams left up, and I'm sure we'll be seeing some big performances coming out from these teams. And, you know, EXH, one of the teams that lost one early last time, they were still fragging out, let's say the least. And this time been a bit rewarded with the zone they've got, dead center zone, and they're still obviously 4 up.
And that is one of those ones I was expecting there. That's that Everest George pull, that north side right off the rip. Okay, if you decided to jump as soon as the plane hit that path, smart move here from these at least 3 teams, M-Force, BHE, and EXH, like you had just mentioned. They're in the center of this zone. Not only that, they have bridge control there right outside in the apartments there. So if they maintain position there towards the street side, they should definitely be in a very, very comfortable position, whether they have to rotate in or I should say out of George Full, but they should be able to keep any visitors, any potential home buyers in the area outside, as long as they can keep their eyes pretty much at a 4-corner distance here. So we'll see if EXH can capitalize after a very great start to the day here. Top 3 double digits in kills. They're now chasing probably that chicken dinner after realizing that's what they can do here. That's the potential they bring in game number 1. You know, they have to have some good comms. They have to be a team that is just lighting it up, like boys, girls, and I'm not sure the entirety of the team, but they definitely got to be feeling themselves out and really, really going into match number 2 here with a very confident stride.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's all good to see these teams starting to rotate nice and early. 4 minutes on the clock is all, and teams already starting to make their way in. NE going to be going slightly further ahead. We've also got Gen trying to get their way in as well. RMV as well. Look like they're in vehicles too. So plenty of teams already rotating. Seemed like it was a little bit slower in game number 1, but teams now realizing, you know what, we need to get dead center if we want to, or, we need to leave early if we want to get towards the center of locations, especially in this sort of zone. It's so confined to a very small space that if you're one of the last teams in, yes, you might be able to get a compound, but you're taking a lot of shots to be able to try and get it. And that's definitely something these teams want to avoid early on.
It's great to see NE being one of those teams. They've read that TSS again after taking the unfortunate loss there of QRXZ with the lag out. They're wasting no time on the rotation as well, trying to full send in. But they're taking a lot of shots now. Sensei is going to find Jimbo, taking him down to just a 2-man. And, TSS is opting to go back. They realize they could potentially save Jimbo. Good shots on the Sensei are going to force him back across the road. Polino with the M4 able to find that knock, as the M4 is going to lose blue as well as BHG. Comes in for the third party, now getting involved as well. And it looks like M-Force had the damage done first, but TSS, with a little bit of help from BHE, able to turn the tables here. And now M-Force now should just pretty much worry about getting out of here and repositioning, but they're still ready to take this fight here with TSS as Bosnian cooks up a grenade. Destined for disaster, but just short of where it should land, and it's not going to do any damage to nobody, as Polino now just kind of waits to see if the push comes through, but Bosnian back away into the buggy as TSS able to reset here for the res.
Yeah, certainly are. And Nasty trying to just get away as well as RMV rotating up above him as well. So, yeah, lots of carnage going on in the center of the zone. And that's why we said, these teams want to try and get in as early as they possibly can. And, yeah, it's not the start they would necessarily be wanting to get so chaotic. But Nasty going to go straight into the compound that RMV have just pulled up in, trying to get out of there. I think he might just be able to make it. Yeah, somehow does manage to retreat out of that one as well. Pammy not in a position to be able to take any shots, and B-More also suppressing him there to be able to try and get an angle on this vehicle rotating away. So going to go straight in towards TSS now. Nasty really not having much luck. And surely this is going to be him found here. Spots Jimbo, spots Polly, spots Linker. And there we go, Linker going to be able to find Nasty. And that's going to be another member of MF4 going down.
Talk about some bad luck right there and just unfortunate stops right there. Nasty, no place to go. I mean, everywhere he tried to look, to turn, to scout. I mean, you did a great job gathering information. Bosnian should be able to survive for quite some time here, given the fact that those comms come through. But we'll see how that plays out. And there's WC. They're going to lose Luca. Another unfortunate loss for WC early on. Struggled the first game, went out a little bit too early for their liking, and now going to lose Luca. WC just needs to regroup and maybe take this chance here as we're about halfway through the day here, just 2 more games still to come. How does WC plan to regroup as a 4-man now on Miramar? Again, they are a stronger team towards some of the Miramar-based teams, but WC back in the day was one of those forces that you were just, if they pulled up on you, you were like, all right, man, this is we're going to take 3 losses. If we get 2 of the kills, I'm happy with that. And I want to see that WC come alive sometime today.
Yeah, I agree. I think WC definitely been struggling of late, not being the dominant force that we're so used to seeing from them. Especially with the roster they've got, so many strong players and fraggers on their team. Koki, Luca, Mackers, and Hammy, all very strong players. Hammy obviously being Tickle, very, very strong IGL for the team. And yeah, it's a real shame to see them not having quite that same form as they used to, but there's definitely still time for them to be able to get that back. CE, here we go. Going to be watching Torch rotating right next to them. Tenny going to be able to spot Ghost on the bike. Going to start opening the shots there on towards him. I don't think he's going to be able to make any connections. No, does just miss him there, unfortunately. And Torch going to be able to get away from that one nice and clean. And they can continue to rotate away. But the problem is now they're going to be ahead of CE. The CE now have to rotate in. So, yeah, not necessarily the the situation CE want to be in. And maybe that's just because 2 of the players from CE were lagging behind just slightly.
That's another team there that you mentioned, Torch here, that was very, very quiet in game number 1 with a stacked roster that I'm just looking to see light up the torch here, and carry it into the next game and the next game. And last time I had the opportunity to cast just for a little mini league, it was there was torch just blowing out the water, left for right. I mean, I think they took 2 out of 4 games. It's another team that just can win playing all together, and when things are I guess not necessarily in their field, but when they've got the right momentum and they carry it, that is a team that is super scary as well. So this is a team that we just may see start to light up, as it looks like Ghost smart plays here. He's going to scout, looking to see if there's anybody in the compound. Is Jen there? Shots come through. Ghost said, nope. We'll reposition. We'll play back, and we can just go back to that cube there, and we'll do the same thing you guys are doing. Look for a little bit of bridge kills here and hope for a north side shift with a few seconds left on the clock. I think we're all wondering, are we making the right choice heading down south?
Yeah, exactly. It's I think most of these teams are probably going to be correct, and that zone is absolutely disgusting. So much water still left in. It's centered up on AXH once again, and it is going to be going down to a south/North George zone. But I mean, it's expecting to go down south, right? I don't think we're going to be seeing a southern shift, northern shift. Should be going down to the south. So these teams definitely have to start factoring that in and start thinking about what they want to do. The problem is there is one more zone shift to go, so this could actually be a horrific zone. There's still a chance it can gravitate towards the water for one more time. And yeah, if it does that, I mean, GG's, just absolute chaos going to be ensued on that one. But all these teams we can see trying to rotate in on this. CoR still got to try and make their way in, and there's not a lot to play on this side, so I'm not quite sure where they're going to go. CE going to be going for a wide rotate. They're going to have to come in this side as well, and Dubhub, who are slightly lagging behind a little bit in ruins. I don't know if they've lost a vehicle or something, but they all seem to be they're rotating together. They're literally just stuck together as a 3. But yeah, they have got to try and make a way in, and losing one early, coming into this zone late, it's going to be a difficult uphill battle for them, especially with the fact they've got to go uphill across Everest.
Very, very slow play there for Dubhub, but I guess better than the alternative, crashing and dying with no information here. Torch going to play a little 3-1 split here, as Merc just going to hold the 2 stacks here. Potentially, oh no, actually is in the vehicle too. He's going to full send. Torch regrouping inside the middle of George here, as EXH actually opts to head their way out of Central Georgia, and they're going to kind of play across the road there in the town of Cross. And maybe not the worst play, but if there is a eastern shift here with no hope of a north or a west play, EXH definitely is going to be opting to play probably back into those apartments where they had originally dropped from here. So we'll see how EXH manages to play off that down south dig, just kind of maintaining this weird 2-1-1 split here. Again, I'm not sure why they're so widespread this late in the circle here, but again, it's working for now. Next zone, like you were saying, is that last shift, and when that shift does come through, you're definitely going to want to be as a full 4-man, because you get caught out in that next zone, it is going to be by another full 4-man team, and it's going to be a lot harder for you to recover if you're not with your team.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, let's have a little look over at CodeRed, because they are trying to push in on towards WC, and I think it's time to bring some comms in, shall we? So let's go over to CodeRed's comms, and let's see how they're going to be able to push in onto this compound that WC currently hold.
As long as you don't get utiled. I'm safe.
I'll play that. I'll play it.
Alright.
Make sure
Yeah,
orange
sure.
guy doesn't run out for util.
Kid's just caught behind us. Uh-oh.
It's not
Hey,
the guy on the ridge. Yeah, I need smokes. We're
Not
fine.
from me.
I'm playing res.
WC might move. We need to get into zone.
When I'm looking.
Maybe smoke line WC, or we just rotate in blue.
I mean,
We
rotating
go
blue,
left
maybe,
in blue?
maybe, yeah, like
I'm
maybe
doing
Yeah,
it, yeah.
let's go. Go around like this. I have 9 bandages.
What do you need? Boost?
No, we just need to like
Ready
drive
first?
into zone somewhere. We're going around Everest.
yeah,
Yeah,
go
let's go
left,
left. Let's definitely go left now.
go left, go left. One of C's just gone knocked, flushed. No, one's just not.
They're 1 up now. We're going to run into K7 down this way, but I don't know. That place is a clusterfuck.
There we go. Then we got to hear some insight into CoR's decision making there. They were trying to push in towards WC. Gav getting knocked there. CE pulling up as well on the ridgeline. Just kind of threw them off a little bit, but they did manage to get the knock. They did manage to get the kill, and they are now going to have to rotate in. And that zone, we were talking about it. We said it was a possibility. We didn't think we were going to see it, but my God, this is going to be horrendous.
That is one heck of a zone there, Basse, in order to keep that much water and that bridge still in play here. RMV does the right thing, does center themselves up beautifully, but the knock comes through from Marco. I'd be utterly surprised if EXH actually doesn't go for the push, but there's Ned actually going to clean that one up, so that will probably deter EXH on the push. They're able to find one RMV member there, as again, that was a fight they closed out in the last match here. So now, again, maybe a rivalry starting here in this match. And in the meantime, there's WC upon rotation going to go down here to NE, lying in wait here, ready for that to happen here. And they do find Makaz and Kaki here at the base of the tree right there. Unfortunate for WC, 2 back-to-back games out in 15th place.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we're seeing a big crash on towards K7 here from Dig. As Wash tries to push himself in, Kizza has got the nade in hand. He's going to get it out, and I think might actually be able to find one of K7 or Dig. It does. Kizza be able to get the knock on towards Wizzy. Baltic trying to push himself in. Anto was knocked as well on K7, so it's still a 3v3 situation. But there we go. Wash does go down to QDex's nade, so now all of a sudden K7 with the upper hand here. QDex does get caught there. Baltic going to try and get in and confirm that one as well, but Tyro, sorry, he's going to be able to get that one down. All of Dig do get finished off, but unfortunately they lose 2 in that situation. And that's just going to give QP the chance to be able to push in towards this spot and maybe take it off of these teams.
That was one heck of an altercation there, man. About to say, K7 puts up a good fight. Good push in from Dig, but it was QDex. Ultimately, he had a beautiful angle from inside the bottoms of that 2-stack there in order to get the knock. If he would have allowed that res on Dig to come through, it would have put numbers back in Dig's favor. But K7, great job yet again here, able to hold position. Doesn't really buy him too much for the rest of the game here. They still have a lot of work to do. But that fight right there, at least able to save 2 out of that and come out on top is again, a way to capitalize here after taking home game number 1. Now the phase with 15 seconds on the clock. Do we get this water gone, or our teams is still just waiting and waiting to just group tighter and tighter inside these outside George Pool cities?
Yeah, I mean, it should definitely pull away from the water here. And yeah, there we go. It does hard shift away. So, you know, that's kind of, it shouldn't do too much here. Dub Hub, Skyline still got to make their way in. Same with NE, got to push themselves in towards BHE's position now. But actually, most teams already going to be in, because obviously most of the unplayable area that was taken out there is going to be from the water. Unfortunately, Ollie losing his life there to Jimbo. Try and I don't know if they're trying to aggress into that compound, or whether he just maybe got caught a little bit. Maybe TSS were just being very quiet here, as CoR just holding onto this ridgeline. But actually, I think they've got such a good position in this, you know, especially seeing as where they were. I mean, I have no idea how they managed to rotate all the way around here, but they did very well. Torch, though, they're going to light up Skyline EU as they try and rotate through, and Jed going to be lurking around at the back lines as well to try and see if they can maybe steal these away. But no, Shane, I think, is going to crawl away from this one. Skylinks was confirmed. And yeah, Jen just decided to try and rotate and find another way in here. And Torch doing a very good job of holding down the north.
Help coming through from Genesis. Genesis, how do they make their moves into this next zone? It's going to be a little tricky here. They will be able to step foot. But again, with Torch 4 spread the way they are inside George Pool right now, is definitely going to make it difficult for Gen to come in. Thankfully enough, SKEU is going to rotate down and around the backside of George Pool, allowing Dubhub kind of that window to walk in. But again, Dubhub will walk directly into Genesis, and then both teams pretty much going to become victims of Torch here as soon as Torch realizes what's going on here, and they may start to have that game that we've been looking here for from Torch.
Yeah, exactly. Certainly would. You know, Torch definitely set up very well, and they've been playing so well of late. So, I mean, it's only a matter of time before they get a massive kill game coming out somewhere. And yeah, you said, you know, this is a really good chance of them being able to do it. Ghost being able to knock B-more as well. That's a really nice, you know, that's a really nice knock there. Komi could be able to get finally get the bleed out on towards Shane, so they're going to guarantee themselves that kill. I think B-more should be able to get res from where he was. No, he was actually confirmed, was he? I can't see him on the map anymore, so I'm assuming he was confirmed. Tyro going to get knocked as well, and confirmed with that nade, so he's now got to try and battle, or Kizza has now got to try and battle against the rest of QP here. Pato does get knocked by Bosnian. There's still going to be 3 up for QP. Pato a little bit disconnected though, and I don't know whether he's going to be able to get a res hit. But the rest of the team are going to have to try and push up their hill, but they've got too much to worry about with any in the back lines. You've got Kiza, you've got obviously Bosnian as well lurking around, and yeah, it's not looking great for QP right now, but we've seen them get out of worse, and
I'm just waiting for Kyle to take these shots onto Kiza. He's been looking at this guy for like 3 minutes now. Kyle, just take the shots, bud. You got it. Kyle, all he's got to do. Oh, and now here comes Bosnian. He's about to deny Kyle's opportunity here. Kyle's been lining Kiza up, and Kiza is just deleting the rest of this squad. There it is. Kyle finally opens up, catches Kiza off guard, and that could have almost went the other way. Had Bosnian hit 1 or 2 more shots before that knock came through, and then Kiza just may have been able to walk away with a QP squad wipe there.
yeah, exactly. You know, it literally does take a matter of moments, and sometimes holding off can be a really good advantage, but the problem is sometimes as well, just waiting that little bit too long can really like put yourself at detriment, and you know, it is great to see, you know, them being able to actually get the kill on towards Kiza. But yeah, now real difficulty coming through for QP to try and get some reses. But actually Bosnian getting confirmed might allow the res to come through on Pato. And that might get QP back up to at least a 3-strong team, which is not a bad position to be in. Kaomi continuing to do damage, though, up in towards the north as he does take out one of Dub Hub. I think the res should be viable, but actually Ghost trying to lead the way here to try and maybe take out some of these members of Dub Hub. Yeah, does spot Skokick, rains the shots out, doesn't manage to connect anything though. Skokick going to push straight in, he's not scared at all. Ghost trying to just hold off on the staircase. Got the nade in hand, going to try and throw it down, but actually the nade almost catching Ghost there. It wasn't cooked in time though, and isn't going to be able to do the damage. Skokick takes some damage there from the nade in return and has to back off a little bit.
In comes support from Kiyomi. If Dill places this grenade nicely over the top side of that. Ooh, that was a nice grenade there from Dill. Kiyomi read it right, though, able to get inside the building in time there. And both teams here playing out very, very nice. The utilities coming out are you know, put in the right place, but unfortunately they're just not connecting here. There's good information coming out from both. BHE as a 2-man able to take down the 3-man NE. 3 kills on the board for them, leaving us with just 10 teams as Dubhub hopes to not be the next team here. But again, this is what we had said earlier. They avoid Genesis. They do walk right into Torch. And now it is a 4v2 on the Dubhub here. Just trying to maintain position inside the 2 stacks here. Trying to support one another here from opposing buildings here. But it looks like Merc opens up. He's going to stop, take some shots here onto Mustang. Mustang doing everything he can to bob and weave, avoids the shots. And then it is Ghost here just lying in wait. Top side in the 2 stack as well. Waiting for the push to come through from Skosik as he opens the Molotov, tosses into the window there. Still nothing to connect here. A lot of action being done, but no kills on either side of the board yet. There's Kiyomi, opens up, M4, finds Mustang, goes for the confirmation as Merc follows through with some good shots. Now leaves Skosik high and dry there. Still a move for the blue here with another 30 seconds to make decisions.
Yeah, really nice tag there on towards Skokick there from Merc as he just has to push him back a little bit. Fortunately, though, those windows being down low is really difficult to try and get the kill there. Skokick can see what he can possibly do. Does open up onto the Merc, does get him low. Does manage to catch Kaomi, though, but Ghost finds the angle for the 2-story and is going to be able to confirm that one. And that's going to be Dubhub out in 10th as QP now turn their attention on towards BHE. As CodeRed leads the charge, just Nata left up now for BHE. As CodeRed gets the stuns ready to try and go for this push, try and push over here. And actually, it's going to be EXH from the back lines that's going to be able to confirm that and take BHE out.
There it is, down to 8 teams. Placement now starts to come alive. 24 players left up. We have a few 4-man teams here, a couple of 3-mans, and a few battered and bruised teams here making their way here into the final phase 7, 8, and 9. 3 more phases still to pop here. A very interesting circle here. Some hard cover. Again, it seems to be crossroads today. We just have this road that separates our ending zones here back to back here. And it is 2 teams on one side and then the remainder of the lobby on the other. As Genesis opts to go for a swim here. They're just enjoying the beach time right now while they can. And once that circle does move into phase 7, we'll definitely be seeing Genesis either get involved with RMV or TSS. That's a very hard cross for this team to have to make across the road. There it is, SKEO in the back. That Sticks, Hacker, both to fall. There is QP able to find 2 more kills added to their total of 4.
Yeah, exactly. Really nice play there from QP. They've been so dominant today. As we see CoR go for a really nice rotate to try and get in towards the buildings where TSS currently are. Only 2 members of TSS left up, but CoR do manage to get themselves into the compound. Gav left behind, though, to maybe try and anchor to allow the 2 members to come in, but now he's got a very difficult task of trying to make his way in himself, hitting the meds to try and see what he can do. EXH, though, taking the fight on towards Torch. And EXH, that's definitely not the team you want to be coming up against currently, the way they've been playing. Checkbench does find Merc after he managed to find Tweak, so continuing to just trade out these knocks and flushes. A Ghost straight on the res from Kaomi. He's going to be able to get back up, and that's going to give them a bit of an advantage here to try and carry on in this one. Tweak going to bleed out, unfortunately. And now just 2 members of Torch. Sorry, 3 members of Torch. Fizz is on the off angle, but 2 members up against this building. Now got to try and find their way in. Q. He's going to try and get this one out there. Has spotted the player. Does do the damage and the nade. It's good. Does find Ghost and Kaomi now having to try and hold off on this one. As Fizz not really in a position to be able to do too much from his position. Just needs to try and hold off here. He's just waiting for the opportune moment to maybe catch a member rotating out. But no chance of a res coming through on Ghost with the zone right on their back. And actually they're going to go for the res and maybe deny the point here. Ghost going to go down. Kaomi should follow straight after as well. And that's 2 of Torch now fallen. And it is going to be down just to Fizz to try and see what he can possibly salvage from this.
That Molotov so close to confirming both those kills. It does deny any move forward for Torch. But that was almost a good move there from Kiyomi. Unfortunately, EXH just unstoppable tonight, it seems. Now 3 members left alive here going into the late game here. Only 4 kills on board this time around here. But what a great 2 games here from EXH. Still more to play here for this team. And it's not over just yet. They're outside the zone. They have RMV and Genesis ready to get in. If they can time this push right, may be able to find themselves a home inside this next zone. A few more kills here. But it's QP towards the back that I'm worried about. How they play, how they move forward, and how they get involved on EXH right now. Everybody else is kind of comfortable, has an idea of what they're going to do. QP is going to be the deciding factor for this game. Where they end up and where they decide to crash is going to shift the momentum of this game.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, QP are the ones that have got to try and make their way in. So have EXH, and there's really not a lot to play. There is a bit of a dip that these teams can maybe try and use. Just where my camera currently is now, they can kind of use that just to play a bit of time. But EXH have got to get there. That's the problem. And for them to get there, I don't know what state that vehicle is in. It does look like it is drivable. So actually, might be able to send 2 members to that position and get themselves into a decent spot, to be honest. Considering the zone and how much is actually playable. The problem is they do it too early. QP going to be right in the back lines, going to be able to find them. It doesn't matter. Actually, Pammy going to be able to find one of EXH there. The confirmation can't quite come through just yet, but they are going to try and see if they can maybe get the flush. Smokes are out just to deny that, but that's going to allow QP to try and move in. And they've got vehicles as well that they can use, and they're actually not opting to go for that bolt. Maybe not realizing it's completely free. CodeRed jumps off the bike in the middle of the open, and that's devastating for him. Gonna get found, you'd imagine, taken out so low, and there we go. Pammy does get the angle onto it. RMV being able to pick up the kills here, and RMV in just such a great position to be able to do some damage. And now Major Girth, the last remaining member for QP, has got a big mountain ahead of him as EXH. Yeah, they're smoking already to try and get into that location we're talking about. But do they know that Major Girth is still lurking around here in the back?
Ashi comes through the barrel spray. You're going to find 2 headshots on the EXH. QP doesn't even have to do anything. He will take one of those kills away from RMV, though, as RMV just took 2 for QP. A little bit of revenge served cold there. Major Girth cooks up a grenade, hoping to find the final member. It's in the smoke. It's good. Next goes down. EXH out in 6th. Hope dreams about saying maybe some of the momentum killed there for EXH with that crash. Well played from QP. RMV, though, just again with the position they've been gifted here in this zone, able to read this outside apartment. They're really playing it nice. All 3 members on each of the 3 floors here, just sharing the information, sharing the comms, and really just playing this out nicely here. Able to find knocks onto QP, knocks onto EXH, and now just have to focus on Genesis coming out of the house as they do get zone one more time here for this final phase 8.
Yeah, I mean, this zone is just literally in the middle of nowhere, isn't it? Not too much that is available to play. Major Girth going to have to try and make his way in here. He's not going to be quite in, and he's literally got nothing. I think he just needs to play time right now. Try and see if he can get an extra placement point or 2. Genesis going to have to try and move in as well. So it's, a couple of teams having to make the move. TSS absolutely been chilling in this compound for so long, and they're fine. CoR sharing it with them as well over this road. But the dot is going to be coming in the next phase, and it is going to go dead center, so just over the other side of this road. And this is going to be absolutely chaotic as all these teams have to move out of the cover in the final zone. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how it's going to play out, but it really does depend on what Gen decides to do. If Gen can take RMV's position off them, or enough damage gets done, doesn't matter. JB already getting the knock on towards one of Genesis, and don't think there's going to be too much time to be able to get the res here. Nebo going to have to try and clutch something up magnificent, but he has got a nade in hand. If this lands, this could be beautiful. It looks good. Oh, it's straight on the staircase. Does manage to find Takashi. What an absolute incredible nade. That's going to be the knock, and maybe a chance for Gen to try and push in here, but no, actually, Polino finding him on the off angle saves RMV. And they're going to be able to get the res up.
This buys Major Durf the chance. He's in the back. He does opt to kind of buy his way, and he's got smokes in play here. It looks like RMV has to be very, very careful if they use this opportunity for TSS to push across and crash onto RMV, kind of, you know, giving them just one team to focus on, that being CoR. This may be a great opportunity here as Durf slowly but surely making his way, buying the smokes, and I think using them nicely here. Drops one more in his position. Still has, I think, one more. Oh, he's got 6 more in the bag. If he can just opt to avoid the shots through the smoke, Major Gurf is going to be a key factor here to RMV's success, or ultimately their demise here, especially the way that TSS looks at turning their attention now onto CoR.
Yeah, Pammy being very ambitious there with the shotgun, but the problem is, you know, the longer they wait on Major Girth, the less chance they're going to be able to pick up the kills across the road, and might actually give CoR the chance to be able to get into a good position to maybe actually hold them out on that roadside. So they do need to be a little bit aware of that. Can't spend all their resources trying to get TSS out, but Jimbo finds the angle there on the wall side. Polly looks like he wants to try and push in as well. Gets the stuns out. Actually stuns himself, unfortunately. Does try and push in. Does manage to spot Sutty. Does get the knock, and there we go, just like that. It's going to be CoR almost going out. Traves, the last remaining member left across the road. He did get across, but now TSS having to try and push their way in here. Traves, though, he's got a vehicle to work with. He can just prone out, just wait for the push to come through, and just hope that RMV have dealt with Major Gurf, which they have, and allow them to just try and take TSS out, and then he'll hopefully get second place is the plan, but it's not going to be easy. And yeah, he has left himself a little bit exposed. Polly trying to lead the charge here for TSS to try and get across the road. Jimbo confined against the back wall here. Surely this is RMV's game. They're looking so good for it, but they're just taking so long to actually get out of this compound. They don't want to get themselves too open and out of the cover. And if these shots get traded, there's actually a chance that maybe Trace can pipe up and take this one.
They have one lethal utility, and there it was. That was the Molotov in bag right there, Polino. And he uses it accurately. Hits Travs with it. Now it's a 3v2 as Polino is across the road. The shot's already from Pammy, denying it, making a 3-1. And it's going to be a hard cross here if you're TSS trying to make this. Jimbo, all hope in heart, hoping that he can make it inside the smoke. He's going to deny those points to the zone. Nothing else you can really do there against 4 members of RMV. RMV takes home their first victory here in match number 2. 17 points. Well done for RMV.
Yeah, incredible play there from RMV to be able to come away with the win. I mean, they got the compound. You know, they were center zone for so long. They did very well to hold it out. But yeah, they had to deny pushes from, you know, the likes of Gen. I think EXH were getting involved as well. They got some really nice shots on them. QP tried to push in the back as well at one point. So many teams trying to take that position off of them, and they did really well to hold it out. Same with TSS on the other side. You know, they were also just holding down the compound. They managed to get second place. They, you know, maybe could have dealt with CoR a little bit sooner, and that might have gave them a better chance in the late game. But yeah, again, you know, getting the zone in those situations, I think, does a massive favour in terms of being able to get placement, but sometimes can deny you the kills to go alongside them.
100% agree. RMV, well played there in the second match. We have still 2 more matches to come as we're going to take a quick little intermission in between. We'll see you guys back here in just a little bit for match number 3 as we enter the world of Miramar.
See you then. There we go then. Back again for game number 3 in just a moment. Going over to Miramar. But CC, I'm interested to see, what did you make of the Erangel games? Because, you know, I know you've kind of been in and out of the scene a little bit recently. So, you know, some of these teams might be a little bit more fresh faced to you compared to what you're used to seeing. Who's been like really impressing you so far?
Well, like I said, man, it's really WC who I've just been expected to see back at the top. Torch as well, another team that I expected to do well. Did have some potential there in game number 2. Two of these teams just very, very heavy hitters inside the EU region and have always done things, I think, to set the competition, you know, set the level very, very high. But today it's EXH, you know, who's found kills in both games, you know, came out on top there, sitting at well over 20 points here after 2 games, and that's comfortable. That's a 10-point per game average right there from EXH. And that right there is just a fantastic start. You've got other teams in play where there's just, I think, a lot of opportunity. Teams that still have yet to surface themselves here in this lobby. RMV finds themselves a victory there, who again has been inside the EU region for quite some time. So that is another team that I'm definitely looking to see continue that momentum and now pick up the pace here as they've found the momentum in the chicken dinner. So those are at least 4 of the names that I got out. That there is a lot of teams and a lot of talent we have yet really to still speak of, and probably yet still to showcase themselves. So as we get into game number 3, Silencer, there is still a lot of potential here.
Certainly is. And speaking of game number 3, let's get on over there because we are jumping out the plane already over on Miramar. So let's check it out. And there we go. Plane dead center through the zone right now. So everyone pretty happy with where they can getting to all those good locations. We haven't seen too many hot drops, have we? We've seen a lot of congestion on the Erangel games towards the center of the map. But I think a lot of these teams doing their research, doing their homework on the drop locations of other teams and maybe trying to avoid them. As I say that, though, it looks like we've got quite a few teams going towards El Pozo. So maybe still done the research, but happy to take them on because, yeah, you got TSS, CE, and you got BHE all going around there. Dig deciding to just pull off. I don't know if they were intending to go El Pozo or whether they saw the numbers and thought, nope, let's get out of there. Let's go down towards the south where no one else is. But yeah, we've got 3 teams in there. There is plenty of space normally for 2 teams, but 3 teams, it is a little bit cozy.
It is definitely getting cozy. Your neighbors definitely don't have sugar for you, but they got something else. They'll be able to deliver some kills, pick up some early points here if they do. They are in the zone, so again, not having to be super cautious about moving to the next zone here. They have an opportunity still to rotate. A good compound to move forward to, honestly, would be to move into the warehouse and the / stable that's right outside of El Pozo. That'd be a good compound for any of the 3 teams to rotate first, too. So we'll have to see which teams decide and if the fight even decides to break out in El Pozo. Like Silencer said, there is plenty of space for teams to exist. Usually for 2-3 is a possibility. But again, with we respectively trying to get all 4 players and everybody's full team to the end game, we'll have to see if teams just kind of get that base starter loot and then opt to rotate themselves into the next position and next part for the next zone.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's definitely the plan. Try and just get that loot, get themselves rotated. And Miramar's one of those ones that you kind of want to go for quite an early rotate because it can take you a long time to rotate across these maps. You know, the dips, the divots, the hillsides and everything. And some of the cars, they're not really built for that, are they? You know, getting in one of those Murados, you've got to stick to the road pretty much. Otherwise, there's a good chance you'll flip that on rotation. So, yeah, definitely something that these players need to start thinking about, you know, early on, getting rotating nice and early and try and get to a good position. But yeah, for now, you know, they are able to just get a bit of loot, got plenty of space. Well, most of these teams have got plenty of space anyway, still keeping eyes towards El Pozo and seeing if anything breaks out there. But they're kind of giving themselves a little bit of a, you know, mutual respect. You know, TSS holding down the center, you got C on the west, and you got BHE on the east. And, yeah, no one wants to overstep the boundaries just yet, but I'm sure when they start going for vehicles and try and rotate out of there, there'll be a few little shots that rain across El Pozo.
No doubt. If you want to take a quick little cheeky peek over on Marco, Marco is caught in the middle of 4 Dub Hub members, shotgun in hand, just holding the staircase with dedication to the T here. So he's probably waiting for Dub Hub to rotate here. Not sure what happened here, but it looks like Marco caught out in between, and he may make it out of here again. You know, this is a very big El Azahar, but it all depends on if Dub Hub decides to do some scouting into the central part of the town or if they're going to allow Marco his way out. Just a little crude humor there to see if we will have one of EXH's. They've had a good day here, so that's just would be one of the most unfortunate starts to their Miramar matches.
Yeah, exactly. You know, definitely don't want to lose anyone early, especially from just dropping on a team of 4 either. But yeah, for now, you know, it does seem to be he's okay. He's able to survive. I don't know whether DubHub were aware that there was a player that dropped in the middle. Maybe managed to disguise himself in amongst all the parachutes that were dropping. But yeah, for some reason, no one seems to be pushing towards his location. So yeah, it's good to see that one coming through. Going back over towards El Pozo, it looks like TSS, BHE, and SCE all trying to rotate out of there at similar times, but going in their different ways. So I don't think we'll be seeing too much actually raining out there. So yeah, very well played from those teams. But there are shots going around towards NE. Viper does manage to find one of Dig, but he's got 3 other members to contend with. All of Dig now trying to focus on towards Viper here. Washed can have the off angle there with the mini. 4x in hand.
We were talking about El Pozo, and every team rotated smart. I don't know Cliff's ideology here of why he decided to go try to take TSS on or hold the angle. The remainder of BHE was already out and on the rotation there. Those are some comms I'd like to get a hold of right there and wonder. You have 3 BHE members on the same wavelength rotating away, and you just have Cliff just, you know, kind of a lot further back there from the team there. So that could have been an easily 4-man full BHE rotation as they head towards that compound that TSS is scouting. So you're either going to arrive as a 3-man or a 4-man. It would have definitely been better to arrive as that full 4-man squad because you definitely have the advantage in numbers over the 2 TSS members who had the same idea here. So, you know, just again, I'm an observer. You know, here's me over the top. I can see fully, but again, if I'm BHE, you know, I'm telling my team here when we rotate all 4, we rotate all 4, and that straggler behind could definitely be the difference of a fight won later on in the match.
Oh, 100%. You know, you've got to try and stick as a 4, especially when you know there's so many players around you and you don't know where they are exactly. You know, you need to make sure that you're in a position where you can potentially, you know, get those trades, get those extra points. And unfortunately, Larry getting knocked there as well. Natter's taken very low as well. One more tag on towards him might find the knock there, but I think he's just going to be able to get himself in towards cover. But TSS, well, especially Linker, wants to try and get a bit aggressive on this. He's on foot as well, trying to rotate into this. I think the whole of TSS is going to be on foot. I don't see any vehicles between them, so you know what they're thinking, you know what, if we can't really rotate into a decent position driving, let's just walk on BHE and take them out. And that looks like exactly what they're going to try and do here.
And this is exactly what BHE does not need. I know the mentality for a lot of these teams, when this type of thing happens to your team, you lose one to a team, that team then rotates on you and you lose the fight to that team. That's a detriment. That just really does a hit on the mentality right there. So BHE needs to win this fight, if not for the points, for the win. There it is. Nice place shots from B-More. The nade to do some damage. Linka confirmed either way. Now the numbers can start to even out 3v3. Can they get the pressure onto QRXZ in time before Polino and the backup from Jimbo comes in play here? This is definitely going to be needed, but BHE looks like they're just kind of going to play it out slow, appreciate the knock and the confirm they have now, and wait. And this is going to give TSS that chance to regroup as a 3 and put the pressure back onto BHE here.
Yeah, exactly. And DHE or DubHub, Marco been able to find one there. So we kind of said about him being in the compound. Does manage to find one. Also looking elsewhere as well. It looks like Skyline EU in a bit of trouble as well. Torch fully surrounding them as well as they try and take the shots now. Ghosts trying to just head up to this hill. Does manage to spot Skylinks. Didn't have the gun in hand, but has got it out now. He's trying to get their U-tilt now, raining out, gets the stuns out, does manage to see Skylinks there. He tries to back off, but nice tags coming back from Skylinks, takes Ghost down so low. But the nade here from Ghost could be great. It lands right next to Shane, somehow doesn't get the knock.
That's that Miramar terrain for you.
Yeah, exactly. Hitting those little dips and divots can cause a lot of problems, but Skyline trying to retreat from this one, but Torch are having none of it. They are getting fully aggressive on towards this one. Sticks lagging behind a little bit, has managed to hit the med. He's going to rotate away. I think Skyline might actually get away 4 strong here. Actually saying that, no, Sticks gets caught by Kyobi.
Surprisingly enough, the fact that they're able to even reset and, you know, get back up to a full 4 and make it back positioning here, they're playing well. Torch is aggressive. They're just not finding the right angles to be aggressive. And in the backside, there's that fight between TSS and BHE. They allow the regroup to happen, and BHE is overtaken there. The first team to fall here in Miramar matches. There's 2 members for SKE who fall here. Fizz comes up over the top. He's got an angle. Doesn't see him inside the smoke. Ghost gets shots on the hacker in the window and just needs Ghost to anchor his position in. But that slow push right there is allowing this res to come through. The nade almost looks perfect. Bounce off the ridge again. Backside SKEU. Just about back to 4 up, but Merc with a perfect grenade there. SKEU loses 3. Now it's left a hacker inside the building here, and all the pressure is on.
Yeah, that was a huge nade there from Merc, just making sure the reses couldn't come through. Gets the re-knocks on the 2 members as well that were low, and that's just going to allow Torch to be able to confirm those members. No chance of a res coming through. Hacker far too disconnected from this one, but this nade, this could be good. It has managed to just go over there, but a little bit of a ridge goes a bit too far, and Ghost able to survive through that one. And just going to be Hacker now still holding down that building, trying to do what he possibly do. Does manage to stop Merc with some nice tags, but does take a big tag in return, and loses his helmet as well in the exchange. And Torch, they want to just get aggressive on this. They don't want to hang around for too much longer. And Hacker, he's pretty much just trying to outlive as long as he possibly can, but it's not going to be easy, especially when Torch are as dominant as they are, 3 strong, and looking pretty good.
The gas can. He's got it in hand. Laid it on the floor. Tossed down the gas. He's backed it up. Oh no, he's put it away. He's put the gas down. He's put it down. No gas plays coming in. Hacker, full force send from Torch, drops him out the window. Movie theatrics to finish. GG's.
Yeah, really, really well played there from Torch. Unfortunately, did lose Kayomi, but keeping 3 strong, getting the 4 kills. Really, really well played from them. Let's have a look elsewhere. What's going on? CE actually right on top of NE here in this compound, down towards the south. Scrub gets caught in the backlines though from K7. CE goes, Jads goes down, Wheelix goes down, Scrub gets confirmed, and just like that, Denny, who's on literally 5 HP, the last remaining member, NE doing so well to be able to hold off these advantages from CE, and now they're getting shot in the back. Denny really looks like he's not going to be able to survive for too much longer here.
Smokes in play, third-party shots now coming through to give NE that little bit of help. There's Jads confirmed. That is NE 2 kills on the board as 1 was stolen away, but just as a 3-man, now able to maintain a decent position inside this zone here. Again, we're looking like we got a power grid finish. The ID, it just seems to be the theme also today is donut, donut, donut for the first zone. So that's another donut zone there for phase 2 here. And again, that leaves so much opportunity and a lot of risk here for phase 3, phase 4 hard shifts. And that phase 4 has been detrimental in those first Erangel circles, and we'll have to see how it plays there as we do lose Denny to the third-party shots. That's QDex picking up 1 for K7.
Yeah, it certainly is. And obviously, as you said about donutting, if this does center up, we're expecting a hard northern shift because there's so many little rocks and stuff on this like middle belt that's unplayable terrain that it will shift away from. But because of the fact that it's like right in the center of the zone, teams can't really predict where it's going to go. It could go north, could go south at the moment. So you've got kind of different groups of teams kind of banking on the different shifts, hoping they kind of get that little bit of circle luck going in. But we'll have to wait and see kind of how that plays out. As you know, as you said, 1 more shift before that's going to come through. So it's plenty of time for these hard shifts to still happen, or even another donut zone going in towards the middle. But yeah, for now, CoR being able to hold down Power Grid still, haven't had to leave there all game. Traves trying to take some shots towards M-Force. He's going to have to back off as the damage coming back in return. And RMV, they're going to be rotating straight through the middle of QP here, and they could run into some trouble here if they're not careful.
After a great game last match, you'd hate to see him go down this early, but good shots on to Major Gurf, who was ultimately their competitor towards that end game. They're going to get rid of him early here. QP loses 1 member. RMV stops on the hill. Do they see Pato? Does Pato opt to get involved? And it looks like no, he will just sit tight, do a little scouting, make sure they're not full sending it his way, and wait for the rest of the QP boys to pick him up and head into the zone. Not a bad rotation there coming out from QP. RMV played it out nicely as well. I'm curious to see in the next 10 seconds where this phase 2 will start to shift these teams. Everybody has made a safe, secure rotation in. Still 47 players left alive, rotating their way in, but it's 3 teams outside Picado with K7 that I'm really, really worried about. There's the shift, and that's going to group those southern teams up even more as Genesis, WC, and EHX are all inside the zone. There is still a lot of central positions available, and not a lot of teams taking advantage of that. But CoR absolutely loving the fact that they've chosen Power Grid as their home. That is something they're comfortable playing, and it looks like they may just end up with the end game in their favor.
Yeah, not only that, they've also got themselves a nice crate org And the 3 gear. Oh, looks like we have crashed, unfortunately. So I'm going to be loading up into the game, but we'll go back to our faces for the moment so we can have a little chat through. Maybe you can just keep us updated, CC. While,
And as we're going through, we just have Genesis running up, picking up a res, K7 making the rotation, top side of the ridge here. We've got CoR again just holding out M-Force as Dub Hub rotates right past RMV. K7 will lose Tiro. And then it looks like just a whole lot of rotation coming down from Dig, QP, Dub Hub, and RMV. Everybody going to try to find that centralized position as we still look to find Dub Hub in the circle. They're going to lose Dill. It's Evo and Skosic just left alive, but they do find refuge inside that northern part of the zone. RMV just over the ridge, still waiting to kind of get that fight in as QP seconds will get taken down here by M-Force. That's another loss for QP. QP just losing member for member. And again, the just not rotating together. They had grouped up. I thought one time just was a 3-man, and then again leaving seconds out to dry by himself. End up 4 M-Force members to take down one more QP member. 2 remaining QP members left alive in these 13 teams, and they're taking a deep rotation, which may cost them one or the remaining 2 players of this roster.
Yeah, exactly. We are back though, so it's all good. We can now, as nice as the commentary was. Oh no, we got network lag again. I don't know what's happening here, but guys, I do apologise. Hopefully, we get things sorted out nice and quickly. Oh, that doesn't look good. Okay, attempting to reconnect. I'm going to leave it over to you again, CC, to just kind of keep us updated with what's going on.
And as we're running through, it's Genesis. They do get the res, the reset on to Game Boy. Game Boy back on his feet as EXH will lose Nyx right there. Marco pulling back for the res here as that's Game Boy, who was back on his feet to find that knock. Just kind of holding tight for right now. Marco should be able to pull the res as he's over the ridge. So that's EXH going to get back up to 4 remaining members here. The question is, why are EXH so spread? They need to regroup back inside Picado, use the hard cover, and wait to play this circle. They started off with 2 fantastic games on Erangel. You need to close out the day in that same fashion. K7, just third-party shots from every angle, continuing to not keep their head down, continuing to get knocked, but somehow sticking the res every time. But K7, with an advantageous position, just doesn't seem to be making the best of it here. Now it looks like they will be the third-party victim of quite a few teams here sitting on the southern edge of the zone. EXH, WC, Genesis, NE all having to make rotation here up into K7's home turf. And as that continues to happen, we'll have to see who ends up where, with CoR still getting a little bit of the zone love there. As Power Grid just really continuing to stay the main focus of this game.
Yeah, unfortunately not quite in just yet, but I have just started the leaderboard so we can have a little look as well. Maybe give your voice a little bit of a rest as well so we can kind of quickly go through that while we are waiting to just load back in. Hopefully it will be in very soon. But yeah, as you can see, XH leading the way there, but it's so close. Look how many points literally between the top 4 teams here. Just 2 points in it. But we do seem to be back in the game, I hope. So hopefully it does survive a little while longer, but let's go back to the game and we can continue looking at the action.
And as we get back into it, I think the most opportunistic right now is to see the crash from TSS onto K7. Kiza will fall. Anto was just picked up, put back on his feet. QDX and Anto versus TSS over the top. QRXZ was just lost in rotation. Good nade coming out from Anto, but Polino has already backed his way back up to kind of back up Jimbo here. Now we have a 2v1 with Anto if he does opt come up over the top. But no, in comes NA. Bolby from the side, found out by QDX. Cures just kind of hold the angle, allows Bolby to get confirmed there. No pressure to be sent back in his direction, just holding the angle, waiting for next moves to come through. And there's WC finding the first big move of the day for them. That's 4 kills in the bag against Genesis. Now giving them some hope here in Miramar match number 3.
Yeah, it certainly does. Shall we have a little listen to some of K7's comms while they're trying to take this fight with NE and TSS?
Okay. I'm pushing.
Let's do it.
On top, 3-5. Behind you.
Rip.
Okay, it seems to be curse of the caster there, as once again the team not lasting very long to get too many comms, but WC taking the perfect opportunity to try and push up here on towards K7. Do manage to take them out, and any being able to confirm those kills away as well, but now they've got to try and really turn the tables as WC. They want to get aggressive onto this one. 6 kills now on the board for WC as Pures is spotted there by Hammy, but doesn't take the shots, unfortunately. The angle, and Jay actually going to be able to get the shots on towards Hammy. As Luca now pushes over, does find one, tries to find the second, finds 2.
There's Luca.
Huge plays coming through, but I don't know whether just going to be able to get into zone. They are, and they're going to save Hammy as well. And 8 kills now on the board for WC.
WC waking up here in match number 3 here, finding 8 kills already with 28 remaining players here, 24 not including them here. Polino is going to open up, does spot WC, trying to reset here on the edge, almost finds the knock, but now just gives away position. Dig still alive here. Their first time here, making their way in towards the edge game. We're starting to see a little bit of a difference of teams here as far as the end game goes. We do see WC making their way in. We have a consistent EXH and TSS team who have been inside these top 8 teams all 3 matches here. So that is just great to see these teams continuing to find that consistency. RMV making their way in towards the top 8 as well. And then DubHub getting a little bit of survival this time around, finally getting to see these final few moments. Maybe a huge factor to find RMV from the back as they start to get involved here with Torch.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly does. As we see Takashi being able to take the knock and confirm on towards Fizz hit with that bolty. So nice shots coming out from him, and Torch unfortunately down to just Ghost. Not too much on the side of Torch, but they have picked up 5 kills, so they're not doing too badly. Not quite making it into placement points yet though, and they've got a long way to go if they want to try and make it in. EXH going to be the gatekeepers for them as well. So I don't think Ghost has actually been spotted running across the field there. Oh, that's because he's hiding behind a rock for the time being. But yeah, there we go. Takashi. That's RMV taking the fight on towards DubHub as they try and push in the back. Evo does manage to get a return, but instantly finished before we can even get over there. But now it's going to be CoR actually in the back lines, going to try and take out RMV here. Sutty does manage to get one and confirms JB as well. Pammy's still bleeding out, and it's just going to be Takashi now left up for RMV to try and do something as WC continuing to do damage on the other side of the zone.
All right, so I'm looking at some of the teams here, you know, in this power grid. So CoR, nobody's opted to kind of send in full and contest CoR here. So if you're CoR, you have full central power grid control here. Do you want to opt to, you know, maintain your group here as a full 4 in one position, or do you think it'd be better to kind of spread yourself out to make sure nobody does come in here for, you know, the final few circles here? How would you?
I think with Power Grid, because it's so big, you have to kind of split it in 2. So you kind of go for the bottom warehouse and the big brick building in the south, and then the top building and then the top warehouse in the north. I think if you can hold down one of those sides, I think you're good. I don't think it matters too much if a team does push in. The main thing is just making sure you've got at least 1 team in there, maybe even 2, to just hold out any other teams from trying to push into your location. But generally, you don't have to look at each other. You don't have to take the fight with each other in that compound. And it can just allow you to, you know, just make sure no one else gets in and then take the fight with them. You're guaranteed at least a second or, you know, top 3 maybe if you manage to hold down that position. So, yeah, I don't mind the fact that they're not spreading too much. They've sent Ollie down towards the south a little bit. So, just to make sure there isn't anyone down there and maybe to try and just deter teams from this side to try and push in. But, yeah, I don't really mind too much if they can't. They do allow a team to come in. Nice spray coming out from Luca, though. As we look at WC, we're taking the fight onto EXH, and they're already on 12 kills. Big tags coming through from Luca. Give him a Grozer, and he will show you how to use it, as he's just doing so much damage here. Managed to spot Tweak thinking over that ridge line as well. But needs to be careful, because there's so many teams, or so many players from EXH on that side of the zone. It's Cocky trying to just head on over here. Does manage to spot one. Does get Marco. Doesn't manage to get the tag, though. Unfortunately, his can go down. Lucas going to pop over, though. He doesn't manage to do it either. Marco holding off both players here, but he's so low. Mackers, the problem is he's very disconnected, but it doesn't matter because you've got Hammy there in the sidelines. He's going to be able to confirm that one, and that is going to be WC keeping 4 alive again and taking out all members of EXH. 15 kills now on WC, and you said it, this is the performance that we want to see from them.
Who reached out to WC, chat, by saying, told them I was talking about him? Who said I was talking about WC in chat? WC, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I love to see. This is the team that we all love to see. But there it is, RMV. I was wondering if they were going to put the pressure on before WC got the full reset. They do get the reses, but not in enough time to pretty much feel a comfortable reset. The pressure is instantly there. They find the 2 knocks again. Now they need to make sure the knocks don't, or excuse me, the reses don't come through one more time. Takashi over the hill with barrel in hand is ready to push this pressure, but waiting for Pammy to come up over the hip. As Pammy grabbing a little bit of loot, making sure you can get some util. Gives Takashi a reach out over the side of Hammy, takes shots to defend, but from the back, M-Force gives RMV a little bit of help there, and now WC stops. Let's go for a res and reset as a 3-man.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually M-Force, I was thinking, you know what, that's going to be a real problem for WC, but I think actually maybe for now, actually benefiting them because they're just stopping RMV from being able to push right over that ridge line, and M-Force can just hold down that angle, and now all of a sudden WC, yeah, they look in a bad position. It's going to be tough for them to get out of here, but they might be able to outlast one of these teams if they do fight over the top of them. As you said, have been able to get the res, so they are 3 strong, or they're getting the res now. 3 strong, they should be able to continue as, and now RMV, they've got to rethink their strategy a little bit because the push, yeah, they got themselves a kill out of it, but I don't think they're going to be able to get too much more, especially with M-Force now holding down that ridgeline.
CoR with the popcorn in hand, just enjoying the show from the top side of the bread box here. And you love to see it. You know, they've got information. They're definitely not just sitting and wait. They are scouting it out. My biggest worry for them is that there's nobody worried about RMV who's allowed Pammy. Pammy is making the way. He's actually going to step outside the zone to grab that care package back inside the zone. He's going to come in on the side of CoR here. And if CoR just has to be very, very careful, they don't allow this side angle here from Pammy to be a nuisance here. And if they can keep Pammy in check here, this looks to be CoR's game to lose here. But M-Force, WC, and RMV, definitely not some teams to take lightly and make moves here in this final 2 phases.
No, exactly, 100%. And yeah, M-Force trying to do all they possibly can to get over here. The utils flying out, trying to see if they can land anything. Actually shoot the molly out of the sky. Huge plays coming from WC as they managed to just stop that one from getting too close to them. But yeah, Nesco, unfortunately, is going to be able to find Hammy. And now M-Force surely going to want to push on this. The problem is RMV, they've been able to push it away. So actually, don't have to worry too much about them. And for WC, now got to worry about it. As this push starts to come through, Luca gets found with a nade, and it's just going to be down to Macca's. I think he's going to go for the res. It's going to be a quick res coming out. But, yeah, M-Force seem to be a little bit reluctant to try and push onto this. Maybe don't want to get caught out by RMV, who have now found themselves in towards Power Grid.
And there it is. They've sent Ali out. They've got him scouting now on the crates, realizing RMV is coming in for the push. It's going to be a CoR RMV and an M-Force WC. Winner of each fight will then be our end game force to be reckoned with here. But M-Force playing still has a full 4, leaving the 3 there to lead the hill. Just has to be very, very careful they don't get the first knock, because the first knock will immediately get pressured here from WC. The utilities starting to get scared. Says no more smokes for Luca. He's hoping for the best. Sprays out with the Groza. His vest is absolutely cracked. They just need to hit 1 shot, and there it goes. Bosnian will put Luca down. Makaz using the opportunity to just make his way into this next zone. Does M-Force even spot him out, or no? They back up down out the hill there. Makaz a chance to reset, but there it is. Nesco over the top of the hill, puts down Makaz. WC, great game from them, but will lose out there in 4th.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Trave's actually going to be pushing around here to try and see if he can maybe catch RMV out straight away. They're going to go for the double push here. Going to get the confirmation. The nade, though, from Takashi, actually going to do quite a bit of damage here on towards Trave. So he's going to have to back off. And Takashi actually going down 2 zones. So we're down to a straight 4v4. It's going to be M-Force versus CoR. And let's get over there and let's listen to the comms as CoR trying to just hold off and try and pick up the win.
Boys, there's only 4 other
They've
players.
got that whole ridge out there on you. Well, be careful, bro. Literally, they're all on them ridges, bro.
Who is it?
Yeah.
MF4.
I have a nice Ridgy Bowl thing here. On me.
I think there's a solo. I think there's a solo on yellow line. The start of yellow line.
I'm
Like
trying
here.
to push towards you, Oliver, but they might be on your your right, so...
On a stack left, because we know RMV just got wiped on the left.
Could be one on that on your low left now, Traves, on
I
the
think we're
next
good,
ridge.
boys. We're good. We just hold us at 4 ears. Play tight.
Just make sure there's not a rat on your left now.
Will I
Yeah,
play
yeah.
the
That's
rid?
all running in.
Yeah. Just been stunned from close.
Yeah, literally, this is what I'm saying.
Right
Okay.
over your ridge, right over
Yeah.
your ridge. I'm standing over. That was super close, boys.
Oh,
On
to
the
the
left, on
left.
the left.
I should have.
Double peek and left.
Yeah, far right as well.
I think 4 up. It might be 4v4 this.
I think it is. MF4. Knocked 1 left.
Stay tight, stay tight.
Do you want to stack?
You wanna push
Stack left?
left? Left, left, left.
Should we stack left, boys, yeah?
Go. Push left with
Not
smoke.
skid far right, not skid far right.
Right, go left, then, go left. Stack left, stack left, stack left.
That left, go.
Nice.
No,
Good shot,
Trade,
nice.
good trade.
One up,
Gonna
res
play
another
res.
kid.
We're probably
Just
going
gonna play
towards my
res.
res, I reckon.
Stay tight, stay strong.
They might even wrap our right, bro. They might wrap our right. Take center zone from us.
Yeah, he's back left edge, blue now on me 250.
Yeah, let's
Good,
go.
boys.
GG's. It's not many
Fire
kills, but
two.
it's a win.
And there we go, we heard it. Not many kills, but it's a win. Huge game there from CoR, as they do manage to come out with the win after what a great push that was. You know, just understanding the situation, they thought there might be a solo still lurking on the left-hand side, but realising that it was a straight 4v4, getting a knocks, pushing around as a team, and really executed that really well. So, well played there to CoR, and they pick up the win in game number 3.
Could not have done it better. Their core gifted circle, and again, it happens to every team once every now and again. They play it right. They're patient. Their comms come through clean, and that right there is a respectable win here from CoR. Yes, nonetheless, they did not get pressured. They did not get a whole lot of kills mid game, but when it counted, they showed up. They pushed out of power grid and were able to capitalize on a much needed victory to put themselves back up in running for this top 8. One more game is still to come as we finish up on Miramar. Who is it going to be inside the top 8 to finish off tonight's event?
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. One more game. And of course, we have still got 4 games left tomorrow. So if you're not in the top 8, it's not the end of the world. You can definitely come back, reset, have a think, try and come back for top 4. And then, of course, for the 8 teams that don't make it through, they have another chance. They get to go into the lower bracket and they get to play again. Another good best of 8 to try and get into that top 8. So, it's not all over, but of course, you do want to be able to rest for the rest of the week. You don't want to have to worry about it. So, yeah, going into game number 4 in just a moment. We're going to take a very short break and we'll be back in just a bit. There we go then. We are back going into the final game of the day. Going back to another Miramar, of course. And yeah, obviously CoR picking up the win in the last game. Definitely a much needed win for them. You know, you felt like there was a bit of momentum building in the first couple of games, but finally able to pick up that win.
Again, it's one of those things, you know, you lay the tracks down, you know, you get on track, you ride the track, and, you know, sometimes you forget that, hey, I didn't nail this all the way down. I didn't connect this piece completely. That right there was a full connection from the squad all the way around there. Not only did they they didn't wait to come out of the power grid there. They exactly waited. They found M4s out on the ridge, shoved out, pushed out, and they were able to capitalize on a win there. And that's just exactly what you need. The aggression in a tournament like this, not playing scared and just playing for pretty much the right timing. CoR able to pretty much capitalize on every opportunity there. No pressure being sent into power grid. That is a huge win for CoR right there.
100%. And of course, we can't look at that game without talking about WC, right? I mean, Luca, incredible performance from him as a solo, but as a team, you know, they were fragging. 15 kills, I think they had in the end, going down in, was it 4th, I think? So, yeah, massive points on the board for them as well, seeing as they've been struggling in the first couple of games.
This is now the momentum shifter. If I'm being completely honest here, WC, I think, has now found that rhythm. So when they come out here in match number 4, wherever the circle decides it's going to be, if WC has any sort of position inside that zone, it is going to be an absolute bloodbath again for WC. This is just when they find themselves on Miramar. Erangel, sure, when they get good games, they're great games. But on Miramar, it's a consistent, you know, play field. When they do bad on Miramar, I get worried. But WC comes out, pretty much gives us everything we expect to see out of them. And now they just have to follow up with that same momentum, maybe take home a victory here to close out the night. Either way, that's the performance that we expect from WC. And if we continue to see that in this final game, they just may not have to show up tomorrow for tomorrow's games.
Yeah, 100%. You know, if they can get into a high position on this one, they should be guaranteeing themselves top 8 almost already. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens to the leaderboard. Obviously, it does take a little while to update when we talk about console. So, we should get that updated in the first sort of 5 minutes of the game. But game number 4 is underway. So, let's go over there and have a look to see what's going on. So, there you go. You can see the plane sort of very different from last time. Obviously, last time it did sort of cut all the way from El Azhar downwards. It's going to go up this time towards the north. And actually, I wonder if we're going to be seeing a lot of teams around El Pozo once again. We're seeing EXH and TSS over there. EXH, I don't even think they were one of the teams that were in there originally, were they? I think it was BHE and CE.
BHE, TSS, and then
CE was the other team, I think, in purple. But they've actually decided to go down towards Los Leones, and they've got another 2 teams to contend with. K7 and Gen going to be lurking around that area as well. I've only seen 2 of K7R. The other 2 are slightly further towards the north. So they're going to meet in that location. And actually, it's looking pretty good. Dig decided to go slightly further south and towards Monty. Couldn't quite reach there last time. Decided to go to this game, and they've got themselves a really nice zone in there.
Pop off the rip. There it is. Monty, Nuevo, El Pozo, the possibility for a finish as well. A lot of unplayable area there to the west-hand side of that zone. So we have a huge potential here for Dig to get zone, to get good rotation and first choice of positioning here. Wizzy riding out. Looks like may opt to stop at the wrong compound here. B-More already inside with the shotgun. And Wizzy has not gotten. Oh, he is gotten the sound cue. B-More 2 shots with the shotgun is going to pump him out. And Wizzy down and out for Dig BHE. First blood here in match number 4. Definitely a momentum shifter for them after running into TSS and getting surrounded in the same compound where Larry and Clift are at now. Are now opting to say, hey, we're going to go for a reset. We're going to play this better. We're going to do better. And again, a great compound to be at here in this zone. And we'll have to see if BHE can continue to run with that first point and continue to put a few more on the board here. Not looking like that BHE is going to have the chance to contest for the top 8 tonight. But again, you want to close out tonight on a high note, knowing that there's a chance tomorrow to reset points, come back with a fresh set of teams, and then again, try to put yourselves back into that top 8. And again, Droideka, hold me to it. I'm not sure. Do we reset points or will there be the same points tomorrow?
Same points tomorrow. So we have got 4 games tomorrow, which round out the total of best of 8. So it'll be 2 Miramar and 2 Erangel to finish things off. Top 8 will go through to the grand finals, and first place as well. We haven't really mentioned it today, but we'll pick up an extra £50 bonus prize for coming top of the upper bracket. So, you can already go into the finals without even having to worry about picking up any money, because you've already got a little bit in your back pocket, and also having that momentum going to the grand finals as well as being the team to beat for all these other teams. So that's definitely the aim for these players. It's going to be close. We're looking at the the 8th position is kind of where we tend to look at these, but we've also got to look at who's going to be taking the top spots as well. Let's have a little look, see if we've got an updated leaderboard, because I think this is definitely something we need to start running through, and it'd be good to do it before too much action goes on. So let's just give that a little refresh, and yeah, I think it has updated. Let's see where Winner's Circle are. Yeah, Winner's Circle are up there on 15 points. So let's flick on over and just quickly get this leaderboard up and have a little talk through it, shall we? So yeah, you can see results may vary. Up at the top, very consistent. Haven't picked up a win as of yet. Oh, no, sorry, they did pick up a win, didn't they? Picked up game number 2. Picked up a nice win there. And of course, are able to just keep ahead of CodeRed, who jumped themselves up into second after that win in the last game. X-Help also doing very well. Big kills coming on the board for them. K7 as well, not seen massive performances from K7. We saw the win in game 1, but since then, not really too much to write home about. A few kills on the board coming across for them. So, they keep themselves up there, but we need to also have a look to see where the troublesome spots are. And we have a look. Skyline, M-Force, New Era, not currently making it through. Dubhub EU, one of our, invited teams, really starting to struggle. Only 6 points on the board for them so far, so they really do need to start having a bit of momentum shift coming into the final game here and the games tomorrow.
And I'll tell you, coming from a NA shift here, to see Genesis at the bottom of that leaderboard, it's absolutely shocking. That is a team that on the NA side of things, in other competitions I've seen do fantastic. So to see Genesis below and at the bottom of the leaderboard here, I'm just wondering what the chemistry and what the reasoning is there. But to get back to the action, we've got BHE being ripped apart here. CoR pulls up. TSS is in the making as well to pressure on the CoR, and CoR going to capitalize on 2 points. Now looking to close the fight here with TSS, but still 2 BHE remain still to do some damage here from the grave. Can CoR hang tight? Is this the right position, or do you opt to reset? TSS full send into this position. It was BHE last time who were their victims. Is it going to be CoR this time here for TSS to take home the block?
Yeah, I mean, CoR looking like they're in a bad position here, completely caught out by every single team around them. It's just going to be Gav and Ollie left up, and Gav taking solo, taking a lot of damage down from the off angle. Ollie goes down as well. It's just going to be Gav left up. He's holding in a bush for now. Does manage to get the med off, but he's just going to hold on there, wait for the rest of the team to surround him. I don't think they're quite aware exactly where he is, but there we go, there we go. He does get spotted out by Jimbo. Does manage to try and get the knock. Almost gets the flush, but does get killed just before he can do it. And CoR, winners in the last game, going to be the first team to crash out of this lobby. And yeah, a little bit unfortunate they're getting third parties. And TSS, they're just not giving up at all. They're already taking the fight on towards BHE now as well.
The best intentions there from CoR. The opportunity presented itself. They read it, I think, as best as they could. You don't expect TSS to be lurking there over the top when you're fighting BHE. And again, TSS pushed, I think, for that same reasoning, knowing BHE, knowing there was a team there, decided to go push to try to fight BHE. So had they not had the timing, pretty much pushed at the same time. That could have been a great move there from CoR, but unfortunately TSS definitely had that same time and that same thought process that, hey, we have some opportunity for kills. We had BHE last match. Let's take them down again this match, and let's play for heart. And now it's just B-More left in that solo compound, the compound of all compounds here, to hold by himself. Not going to be an easy run through, at least able to pick up 1 point there for BHE early on, but unfortunately it looks like that first blood is all that BHE might end up getting this round.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly does. And yeah, not looking great for them again. B-More, obviously the player that I think went down first in the last game. He's going to be the last one up for this one. And yeah, just going to have to hold on. He's in the zone, so can maybe just survive quite a while. It's quite central as well, so maybe a good chance of them being able to pick up some extra points through placement. But yeah, and definitely not the showing they would have been wanting. Sitting in 12th, but I think, you know, they're quite... I don't think they're coming into this expecting to be able to qualify straight away. You know, yeah, they've been playing very well sort of leading up to this, but, you know, feel like they're playing above themselves maybe. So I think they'll be perfectly happy taking a chance and going to the lower bracket. I think they've got a really good chance of qualifying from that group of teams. But yeah, definitely going to be a struggle, but can't write them off just yet because they've definitely shown that they can come out fragging in the open qualifiers and definitely have a good chance of trying to come away with the win or two tomorrow to try and push themselves up into the top 8.
Undoubtedly, there is so much opportunity here. I mean, there is a kind of plateau there towards the middle of the leaderboard. Once you hit that 13, you know, everything under 13, you know, again, those teams that are below that, one game could be the difference to put you back up into the 20-point roster, you know, into the 20-point competition. You take a team like QP who's sitting at 22, you take them out first and you get 10 points on the board. That closes the gap between you and that team. So again, being that there is, you know, multiple days and multiple qualification points in this competition, don't let day one be the center, you know, and the reason that you say, hey, we're not going to do so well today, we're probably not going to do good. Reset, learn, watch the VODs. There's opportunity in the mix here, and I love the way that CoR's honestly set this up to give teams hope, so that way there is, you know, not that team that just is still in a learning curve, quote unquote. They come in, they have the same opportunity that every team had today coming into tomorrow. They just have to work a little bit harder, so it's not given to them, but they have to, again, put that pressure in. If they struggled day one, but they have a fantastic day two, hey, shout out to you guys, hats off, welcome, you know, to the game, and that's the reality of PUBG.
I mean, yeah, I think this is a really good format. I think it's one that we've been kind of working towards for a little while, but it does give kind of every sort of player the chance to play in a lobby that I think they feel comfortable in. And obviously, they've got a chance of being able to try and progress through the stages through that to get to harder and harder lobbies. So obviously, with the open qualifiers of 64, you know, if you get through that top 32, but you haven't got those top 8 teams that kind of, you know, have been dominating the scene for a while, they were removed. So obviously, then we come into the you know, when we come into sort of these later stages, you know, you're kind of slowly introducing these better teams against the other teams that have done very successfully against these other players. So if they go out now, there's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, you've done well. You're in a top 24 out of 70 teams or however many signed up. So that's still a massive achievement for any team, really.
Hands down. And looking at the circle here, taking us back to the matter in hand here. There is two teams, K7 and CE down to the south of this circle here. Everybody else opting for a north side shift here. BHE is pushed out, so B-More will have to make rotation. QP and TSS on that northern side, maybe one of the only teams to full send south, but M-Force, Dub Hub, maybe realizing that this is probably going to be a shift either... I'm going to say right where NE's position is, towards La Galeria, or it's going to really move its way towards the north side, towards Monte. You have so much unplayable area on this western part of the map. It makes the rotations and the positioning scary, and honestly, this is some of my favorite terrain for endgame towards the south, underneath and above Val Del Mar. It's just a great region for teams to fight, and just a really, really good place for these teams to test out their IQs at.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's a really nice little play. Obviously, it is kind of a bit difficult when you kind of look at where the zone's going to go, but let's have a look over here because Torch and WC are battling it out. Two very strong teams, veterans of the game, battling it out. Diego going to get involved as well up on high, and I think it is just Macca's that's live for WC. Doesn't manage to get Merc there. Merc is going to finish that one off, so Torch being able to take out WC, who were looking so strong after the last game, put themselves up into the top 8 for contention and qualification. But unfortunately, run into Torch in this game, and they can't get any more points through this one. And also, it looks like Torch might be struggling a little bit as well. Skyline EU from up on high are going to be raining the shots down this way. Dig, unfortunately, lost Baltic, maybe overstepping the mark to try and pick up these kills on towards Torch. And unfortunately, that's gonna leave them a member down. And remember, that's the second member they've lost already, because lost that member very early to be more in that compound. So yeah, not looking great for Dig, and definitely a team that's been struggling today for sure.
If you're looking towards that leaderboard, and just towards again the IQ, the overall end of the day here, this is the last match. SKEU, so you got Skyline and Torch in 8th and 9th. They're separated by 2 points, so those knocks from SKU, that stolen points on that fight with Torch, were absolutely huge here for SKEU. Pretty much almost tying the game up if Torch didn't have these 3 kills here. So this 3 kills that Torch has this match is the only point difference created pretty much this game. So Torch needs to pretty much just maintain this alive, staying alive here, because if they go out any time sooner than SKEU, this opens the door wide open for SKEU to pretty much walk in and take that top 8 spot and pretty much just enjoy some relaxing games tomorrow and not have to worry about the same pressure that they'll be putting back onto Torch here.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of Torch, a lot of pressure being put on Torch here, as they were coming in probably as almost the favourites for this. But yeah, it's not looking great for them, sitting in 8th coming into this game. So definitely not the position they'd want to be in at all. But yeah, really, really good play coming out from them, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing some big games coming from them later on. Obviously, still got 2 players left up on Merc and Kyomi for Torch. So yeah, really good chance for them to still pick up some points, because yeah, strong players left up for Torch here.
Another team close in contention here is going to be M-Force. M-Force and New Era. Both these teams sitting on 11, only 4 points away from Torch coming into this game. Both teams still alive and kicking here in this match, and still plenty of potential. Again, that this being a qualifying point after 4 games and there being so much opportunity, this just opens the door. This final match has so much opportunity for every team. If you had some bad matches, you had a bad start, we'll see what, where you're going to end up. WC, thankfully enough, with that win, they're sitting in 7th, and they could be feeling the pressure as well, going out as early as they did. They did a great job there finding the chicken dinner, and now it's come down to this final match where there is obviously, no guaranteed spot for anybody to take these first 8 positions here. And, you take home that first 8, that's bragging rights, right? You're able to do it on day 1. You didn't have to wait till day 2. So we'll see what comes through. But the crash is already there. Genesis, SKEU, they're going to lose their first one. Skylinks goes down. Hacker in the receiving end for 3 Genesis team members. And again, this is the team that's been struggling down at the bottom of the leaderboard. Are they going to be able to take down one of our contesting teams here for the top 8 tonight?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not the start they would want. Skyline EU, and also Torch picking up that steal as well. That's another point they're going to pick up. So, when you're trying to compete with these players that are around you and the teams that are around you on points, it's not the start you'd want at all. And yeah, especially with Torch picking up that point on you as well, not great. But Gen trying to find an angle here on towards Skyline EU, but they have got to be a little bit careful, because they are taking some shots down in the south. So not going to be completely free to just roam around here. Looks like K7 are the ones raining the shots over towards this position. That is a long distance, so I don't think too much of an issue. But obviously 1 or 2 tags in the back as you're about to push can really cause some problems and put you on the back foot.
That's a scratch on the head right there. I hate that when I'm playing PUBG in my own lobby and you're going to engage on a fight, and all of a sudden you just get tagged in the back, and you're where? Hello? Like, it's such a it's such one of those feelings where you just have to reset. You're then trying to scramble your comms, and you got to worry about the push that comes over the top. We've seen that happen the last match there with M-Force too. They were engaged in that fight there in the bowl, and they are forcing 2 teams to pretty much not fight each other just because they had that outside angle. That's such a strong power play, even though you may not be able to do much damage. The fact that the opportunity is there is such an IQ play.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly is. And that zone has shifted, and it's gone right over towards Ladriella. And Skyline EU and Genesis continue to battle it out. They've got a bit of time to be able to get that fight going. But EXH continuing to drop Dub Hub EU numerous times. M-Force, another team that you kind of mentioned on that needed points, are getting kind of shafted by that zone a little bit. They've got a long way to go. Not only have they got to get across the road, they've also got to get through about 20 teams that are kind of in their way. CodeRed, nice tags on towards Bosnia, and is going to be able to confirm or take that knock, and that's going to be 2 bleeding out now. 2 bleeding out on towards the members of M-Force. Has a nice go. Does manage to get on towards the road, but now RMV, Takashi, JB raining shots down that angle, so just absolutely no respite here for M-Force.
There's just one of those circles where you're just stuck and stuck and stuck, and you're rotating, you're moving, you're trying, and you're doing nothing but burning utilities here at this point. And you know, at M-Force, you know, you're doing everything you can to make it into this zone. If you make this zone, this is going to be well-deserved. But QP sitting there in wait, raining shots down as Dig falls in the backfield there. That's 13 teams still remaining. M-Force down to 2, and QP just not letting up. EXH beating, I'm going to say QP into rotation here, but also running into Dub Hub here. Either the victors of it, whether it be M-Force or QP. Nope, there goes QP taking out M-Force right there. So M-Force will go down in 13th, but now it's QP. Got to pretty much walk into the back house of Dub Hub here, and Dub Hub has had a fantastic game to start as far as the rotations goes. Now they just have to be very, very careful to not let QP walk up on the backside of them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, really do have to be careful with that one. And yeah, Dub Hub EU now got a bit of a challenge because they've got to battle their way in and also be aware that there are teams in the backline seconds already raining the shots down on towards Dub Hub EU here. And yeah, does manage to find Dill. Should be able to confirm that one away as well as the tags continuing to rain out. It has to hit the reload, and that might actually give enough time for the smokes to bloom on towards Dill's position. And yeah, no longer have line of sight on towards Dill. Shots continue to rain, but I think might be able to get the res up on towards this one. Reses that aren't coming through, though. It looks like EXH absolutely battering RMV here. Marco is going to bleed out. Check Bent's pretty much caught out here. No chance for res. Tweak very disconnected from this one. And so, unfortunately, neither team really coming off better. But yeah, it's going to be RMV that get taken out. And they were our leaders coming into this game. So it's going to be so close going into tomorrow because so many of the teams that were doing well going into this game have really struggled to get anything on the board.
As far as the points go in this final match, it's just stretched out. The bottom of the leaderboard finally having a chance to get that momentum built in here. And unfortunately, it is at the end of the day, but sometimes it's a learning. You know, you take the time, those 3 games. It's good to see that on the 4th match, you learn something. You're able to put the plays back in position. But here it is, QP into it with Dub Hub at the end. Pato beat over the top by Mustang's M4. Is he going to come up? Major Gurf will bleed out. Kyle Ed down to the zone, and Mustang down to the zone as well. That blue phase 5 damage comes through and just eliminates both those squads. Seconds still up for QP. And how much longer is he going to be able to make his way away down and off this mountaintop? Does have some ridge to play with here, but still there is 9 teams ahead of him and nothing but open field running.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely the problem here. QP they might be able to survive a little while longer up on that ridge line. They've been a little bit lucky with the zone coming across that way. Yeah, it's down to just one player. Not going to be able to get too much going on here. TSS, though, they're trying to pick up some extra points. Spotted Torch out. They're raining the shots up that hill towards them. But, yeah, Torch don't have to move too much. They are in the zone. They've just got to be a little bit careful of the teams that are surrounding behind them. Jen trying to push in here. Skyline EU. Hacker just keeping eyes that way as he knows that there's a team lurking around here, just waiting to hear the footsteps, hearing the audio cues. See if he can maybe spot Jen trying to push over on this one. But yeah, currently no luck here as well. I think we should go and check in as well with K7 and see what comms they've got as they try and push in towards this zone because they've spotted out Shane and nice tag coming out from Kizza. Let's go and check out their comms.
Marked 1.
We're
Was on
playing
the
left
peak,
now?
330.
No.
Yeah, I think we need to play onto that peak 330. Just be careful of charge. They might get an angle on you as you're crossing on that left side. He might have just been extended out of charge.
There's nades on the left. We got to be careful of this compound below us, mate.
Yeah, just keep your smokes
Fucking
equipped.
see
You
it.
just need to lock LOS from
They're
charge.
scrapping on the shack. They're scrapping on the shack on my pin.
Looting.
I'm watching church and shit.
And shot with
Who's
the
playing
piece of
answer?
glass. In the bowl, 20.
We just play here.
Yeah, we're not bad on us. We can just
We've
chill
got
for a
this bit
second.
here. I don't know if we.
I don't know if
pushing to
Skyline's
here on my
church
pin.
or blast
On my
team.
pin, on my pin. In the next little dip.
Just try to use a smoke to cover one angle, just keep a constant smoke if you need it. I don't think Church will push out on us because there's a team on the 1 stacks. There's his body.
I'm crossing
That's
back
any
over
blast.
onto.
Okay, Skyline's. Why was Sticks up here on his own? Not Sticks, Shane, sorry.
And
Left side Church.
Gene. I'm gonna try walk on us. Up top in the tower. Zone's gone again.
There you go then. Good comms coming out from K7 as they're trying to work out what's going on around them. Kind of caught out a little bit in the confines of 2 teams, Gen and NE, as they're trying to find a way into here. But yeah, you know, they've, as you heard it there, lost the zone again. It has shifted away, and they're going to have to try and take one of these ways, either towards Gen or towards NE. And maybe just have to wait until one of these teams rotates ahead of them, but it doesn't look like to be the case. NE already raining the shots down towards K7, as you can see. But yeah, unfortunately, K7 not in the best of spots, and they know it. So we'll have to see if they can maybe come up with something magical to get out of that spot.
We are with Dumquatch and Genesis just kind of make their moves as K7 comms did come through. Both teams, you know, really opted to play it very slow there. And this is Genesis' first time really getting to see the end game here. And there's B-More, who I was going to comment on earlier, still alive. Comes into the 1v1 with Bliv. Bliv sat down right there as the stun comes through. B-More trying to heal behind the brick wall here as Game Boy the push from Nebo as well. 2v1. He's going to opt. He's somewhere around, just going for the thirst. Really confused as to what's going on. Turns around almost to get the knock on Game Boy, only to fall short. Genesis does pick up 1 kill, taking out BHE in 8th, or excuse me, in 9th, as QP seconds falls there in 8th, right behind 2 teams down and out as phase 6 coming into our phase 7 shift there. Torch with just 1 solo member left up. EXH with a solo tweak. Our top teams really beaten and bruised, and Torch is the one that needs this most. SKEU has gone out. They have lost that shift. So again, the opportunity for Torch still to close the door on SKEU is there. They need to just make sure they can maintain these points. I believe they've outdone them at this point. Just to be safe, I'd put a few more points on the board just to keep that distance.
Yeah, NE pushing really smartly around the back of K7 here and causing them so many problems. Anto gets caught out. Bolby going to confirm that one. Pure's got the initial knock. As now Tyro and Kizza got to try and see if they can maybe just take the fight up on towards Gen. Kizza going to push out of this smoke and will run into the members of Genesis, but I don't think he quite knows exactly where they are. NE taking the fight on towards CE as well, as they're trying to wrap up on that side. Bolby does get confirmed away, and TSS 10 kills. They've been playing so well today. Tyro does find Game Boy, so that is one of Genesis going down. Another member is also knocked. Liv's going to be bleeding out there, going to get confirmed, and Nebo's going to get found by Kyomi. So that's the solo member for Torch just lurking up here, and just giving away the fact that he is still here. But NE and K7 now trying to push in towards this position. Tyro leading the way. Can't quite spot Kyomi though, as he now turns his attention down the hill, as he knows TSS are lurking around here as well.
Play for the Torch is doing everything they can to add plays, but there it is, Tiro. As I cast, of course, Kiyomi out the lobby there. There is Torch down and out in 5th. I think they've done enough to stay inside this top 8, but it's New Era, who I have my eyes on now. 6 kills on the board, right behind. And if they can come up with a chicken dinner, are definitely going to sell them short. Viper knocks down Tiro. K7 is there. Jay will fall. There's just going to be 1 member left up for K7, 2 for NE. Both awaiting this 40-second phase 7 shift to give us our final phase of the game as Jay is picked up. CE's coming up over the top, pretty much to close out the fight. Wheelix finds Pures, leaves it all up to Viper and Kizza. As Kizza tosses a nice nade, that's going to finish out Viper right there. NE, unfortunately, cut down right behind, and that is their road for success tonight, cut short. 3 teams remain. A solo Kizza, 2 members from CE, and then 3 from TSS.
Yeah, nice nade there from Polly, though. Does manage to find Tyro and puts Kizza on 1 HP here. And that nade is going to follow it up and confirm that as well. So, Polly doing so much work here for TSS. 13 kills now on the board for them. And it was only a matter of time, wasn't it, before they had a big game, because they were playing so well, so consistently all day. CE now, the last remaining team they have to worry about, as TSS going to fully surround the zone here. Denny and Scrub trying to wrap themselves in towards the position where so many teams have lost their lives. We've seen any K7, Torch, Gen go down in this position, and I feel like maybe CE, the way that TSS have been playing, might be the next to follow, as they've got a long way to go. This nade, though, could be good if it does manage to find Polly. No, it doesn't quite find the location. I'm not quite sure what happened with that nade, but Polly, huge nade on towards Denny, and it's just going to leave Scrub, the last remaining member. He's going to have to try and see if he can possibly find something here, but the nades continue to rain out. Surely this is going to be CE going down in just a matter of moments here. Scrub trying to find out what he wants to do with this one. He's going to try and wrap himself down, but no, Polly spots him out, and that's a GG's. And a 15-kill win there for TSS.
Way to go, TSS. Closing out the day on a high note. 15 kills, 25 points. That right there is a fantastic way to go home tonight. TSS sitting on, 25 points coming into this game. Just doubled their score with that one game. Now sitting on 50 points. Should have easily overtaken RMV and CodeRed Gaming there right there. What a fantastic game for TSS. Now looking at CodeRed Gaming, who, again, came off the victory. They're going out early. I know is gritting their teeth and hopefully ready to come back here for the finals here with a little bit of revenge here and that same momentum from game 3. But it's that middle of the leaderboard, Silencer, Torch, Skyline Gaming, M-Force, and New Era that were so close to qualifying all together. I just wonder how it ended up at the end of the day and where it will be tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see where the leaderboard does end up when it has been refreshed. But some big performances coming out from some of these teams. TSS definitely, no question in my mind, going to be at the top of that board. All the teams that are at the top towards the leaderboard towards that last game all fell out with very few points in the bag. K7, they've managed to edge themselves up. So I think it's going to be so close near the top there. I think TSS can have a little bit of a margin ahead of others. But I think looking at the rest of the teams, I think we're going to see a very, very close little pack in the middle of that. The problem is we're not just looking at the top spot. We're looking at that qualification spot and the top 8. So, yeah, going to have to work out kind of how it is going to fall, how these teams are going to, fall overall and who's going to be able to get a qualification spot. But, yeah, it's definitely going to be a big game needed or big 4 games needed for some of these teams coming into tomorrow.
Not impossible. It's not over. There is still opportunity out there. But, man, some heavy hitters today. 4 different victories tonight by our teams here. And that is just an outstanding performance. Nothing to cut yourself short of. And then let me see how and when, we can set ourselves up here for success for maybe another champion here in the CoR, season here. We have, RMV, who came through looking like they started off the day doing everything, and the same thing with K7. It's consistent, 10 points, 10 points, 10 points, 9 points. There is a lot of hope there at the top of the leaderboard. It's the middle of the leaderboard who finally came alive in that end game there that I'm now looking forward to casting tomorrow to see, are these teams going to then overtake some of these bigger teams on these numbers up top? Again, sitting at 35 points for RMV, a 20 squad again is going to be at 50 points to end the day. There is again, some points to be made up tomorrow. But again, what I seen there in that last game, I definitely have hope for these bottom 8 teams. Yeah,
100%. I think there's definitely the potential. I mean, they qualified top 8 at the Open qualifiers, right? There's definitely potential for big games. They've had to already fight their way through 2 rounds of Open qualifiers to be able to get here. There's definitely the potential for some of these teams to be able to come away with a qualification spot going straight to the finals and having a big day. So, we're not going to chat here talking for too much longer. Let's head, to the end of the stream. But yeah, pleasure casting with you once again, CC. Always enjoyable. And I'm sure you'll be back with Droidica tomorrow for some incredible more action. So we'll see you then. Take it easy.
We'll see y'all then.